It's 11:20. This is On the Hour.
On the Hour.
Such is politics. It's a painful business.
On the Hour.
What you mustn't do in politics is listen to people.
It's a painful business.
On Radio 4.
Such is politics.
Well, the Germans have always been unenthusiastic about parallel currencies.
On the Hour with Christopher Morris.
Good morning. The main stories tonight.
The headlines.
More oxygen needed, says France. Will all paper be continuous? And Anorak Tuesday under threat, declares Primate.
On the Hour.
And later, we ask Foreign Secretary Douglas Hurd if that is likely to happen.
No, I don't think that is likely to happen.
Plus, speaking from the House of Commons ping-pong chamber, Prime Minister John Major expresses outrage at the decision by the Rugby Football Union to abolish prop forwards.
That is also Michael's position, it is Douglas's position, it is my position. It is a position held by every member of the Cabinet.
But first, the news. Residents of Brixton woke this morning to see the streets literally swarming with hard-faced convicts. But, according to officials, there was no need to worry. It was simply an escape for charity, the brainchild of Home Secretary Kenneth Baker and prison warden David Spreckley. Some of the prisoners had expressed concern over the depletion of the Amazon rainforest, said Mr. Spreckley, and I thought, what better way to help than have a sponsored mass breakout? At 7 o'clock this morning, the doors were opened, the warders turned their backs for 45 minutes, and prisoners paraded out of the gates in colourful fancy dress. They are under strict instructions to return by evening prayers.
At home.
The Conservative Party Central Office has once again flatly refused to speculate over the precise date of the next general election. However, they did agree to leave a series of cryptic clues at undisclosed locations around the country.
The pound.
Sterling today, 7, 2, 50 and 5.
On the Hour with Christopher Morris and other reporter presenters.
It's 27 minutes to, time to go over to the Green Desk for some environmental news.
Green Desk.
Environmental news with me, Rosie May. The organisers of the 200-mile Malvern to Mapstead Whale Walk have fallen at the first hurdle. That's because whales can't walk and find almost any form of motion on land beyond their capabilities.
Environmental news. If it's green, we'll cover it.
Rosie May, getting the measure of matters green, a kind of green gauge, if you like. Later, who pays for our cheese? But first, the unspeakably awful and filthy world of police corruption. A special report now from our reporter, Gavin Strength.
In a surprise development, it was announced this morning that the Special Investigations Unit of Greater Doncaster's Police Force was to be disbanded. The region's Chief Constable, Sir Michael Cog Lucifer, explained the move.
We investigated the West Dorset Flying Squad and we found out that they were completely innocent. Indeed, those who had given evidence against the Flying Squad, 350 members of the public, we then found were guilty.
And what evidence do you have against these 350 people?
None of them were churchgoers. We know that.
Does that mean that they're guilty, that they don't go to church?
No, but we have asked them whether they do go to church, and they have all claimed they do not. And I believe that is more than coincidence.
For one man in particular, the news that the unit is to be disbanded could spell the end of a 10-year nightmare. Lionel Cosgrave is a 23-year-old local pizza delivery man.
I've just grown to notice over the years, I seem to have spent rather a lot of time being arrested, interrogated, thrown in prison, and I don't know why.
Could you tell me what was your first arrest, Lionel?
I was charged with impersonating a Chelsea pensioner. Though I was in the area at the time of Chelsea, I can't do many impersonations. Well, I can do Michael Crawford.
Lionel Cosgrave, guilty Cosgrave, has been indeed arrested 46 times.
Could you tell me a little bit about your forensic scientist, Freddie Vincent?
Dr. Freddie Vincent.
I don't actually think he is a doctor.
No, he's not. But he calls himself one, and who are we to disillusion the lad? He's a young man, he's a God-fearing man, a man who, in his own words, cacks himself before the Lord, and I respect that and I admire it.
I talked to Dr. Vincent in his home laboratory. Bearing in mind the training that most forensic scientists have in this field, would you not say that you're a little bit young to be dealing with matters of this importance?
Well, that's not the first time that allegation, has been put to me, and I've got a reply for that every time. Which is, how old was William Pitt the Younger?
I've been arrested for charged with fitting up terrorist bombings, poisoning wells.
And what actual evidence do they use against you for these crimes?
Apparently they found my blood all over policemen's fists and boots, and apparently my fingerprints have been found all over my hands. I question this forensicness myself.
You can always sort of make something look like something else. If I take a football and paint it green, you might say, oh, it's a giant P. But, you know, scrape away the paint and, you know, underneath, oh dear me, it's a football.
Freddie Vincent, Dr. Vincent, presents the evidence to a committee, myself, and I decide who is to be tried.
And who else is on this committee?
I've just told you.
Just you?
Myself and my conscience.
There is a bloke called Lionel Cosgrove.
Well, yes, I was about to come on to Lionel Cosgrove.
Guilty Lionel.
Lionel Guilty Cosgrave.
Yeah.
Could you give me some proof that you actually found against Lionel? I mean, how do you know that Lionel was in fact a bomb maker?
Well, this is interesting. Ink was found on swabs taken from his fingers, and ink, believe it or not, is one of the most vital parts in making of bombs.
But ink can come from a number of things. I mean, what about pens, for instance?
I think we're splitting hairs at this point. I mean, what kind of pens?
Corruption is like a plague, and if you don't lance it, like a boil, it can spread like some form of satanic cancer.
And what do you mean by cancer? Some sort of illness?
A disease, certainly.
In
Potentially
what form does this
terminal.
disease take?
Well, your hair falls out and your skin flakes off.
No, I'm talking about the actual corruption of the police.
Oh, sorry.
On the hour, maximum use of the BBC's news resources.
In 47 seconds, sports news, but first there's been mixed reaction to the news that pedestrians are to be banned from Cambridge city centre. The council ruling follows concern over congestion in the city's increasingly crowded streets. Market traders are up in arms, claiming that already recession-hit trade will dry up completely if no one is allowed to walk within half a mile of their stalls. But the council are unrepentant. There's no pleasing these tossers, said a spokesman this morning. You clear the streets so they can unload their vans, and they turn around and crap in your face.
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. Formula One driver Nigel Mansell gave up motor racing this week as it's too dangerous. And anyway, claims Mansell, I can get the same sensation by sitting in a wind tunnel with dark glasses on and a paper bag of agitated wasps tied over my head.
Time now for the On the Hour campaign. This week, it's prompted by woefully inadequate public understanding of basic health issues.
Don't catch a disease.
What sort of disease did you catch recently?
Well, flu.
How do you feel about being one of the dim and feckless individuals who didn't avoid catching a disease?
Uncomfortable, bad. You feel rotten, and you must feel bad about it.
What sort of disease did you catch recently?
Flu.
What clearly rather hopeless measures did you take to stop yourself catching a disease?
I didn't take any measures at all.
Do you have any idea how you could avoid becoming, again, one of those bad idiots that goes around catching a disease?
No.
Actually, having a health campaign reminds me of a time when I had to read out a story about a member of the royal family who was ill, and I said that she was 111.
Serious tone of voice.
There's been a large disaster at Big Street Station. Details are sketchy, but it seems that a train ran into the buffers at 8:13 this morning during a rush hour crowded with commuters. And Transport Police have just issued this description of what happened.
And can you repeat that, please? In collision event occurred when the VPU vehicular power unit
Can you repeat that, please?
proposed an IAV inappropriate arrival velocity
Repeat that, please.
to the IAHTS
Was it lodged?
impact absorbing hydraulic trumpet system.
Was it lodged?
Thank you.
On the hour, first on the scene at major disasters.
Our disaster correspondent Roger Blatt is on the scene at the moment. Roger, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at some large bits of twisted metal which just an hour ago was a train with people on it, none of whom had ordered the morning menu of mayhem they were about to be served. An hors d'oeuvre of loud bangs, a shriek of tortured metal with a side order of shattering panel, and for dessert, great cries of dismay and concern expressed by the victims. Could you be quiet, please?
Roger Blatt reporting. Now, as a result of the crash, Radio 1 are running a Disaster Day special. Let's join them now for an update. And it's Wayne Carr, I believe. Hello, Wayne.
The loudest bangs from the biggest disasters.
Hello?
Okay, Wayne Carr, WC on the radio, with a full Rockorama news banana to follow on that train trash. Gotta say, sounds like a bit of a nightmare there on Big Street today. Just a bit of a joke there to cheer you on if you had a death in the family or just lost someone that you love in the amazing Bogey Bash. No, that can be tough. And don't forget, we're going live for a simulcast with the Corduroy Boys on Radio 4 in next to no time, okay? Really looking forward to that. Could be my lucky day. If I play my cards right, I could land a guest presentation spot on a lightweight news-based quiz program. Meanwhile, we're going all the way back with the music, and I see Dave Edmonds is still crawling from the wreckage. On the hour, disaster news update on the serious crash at Big Street Station.
Reporters looking for an eyewitness have found a single man in his mid-20s with an off-the-peg suit and a dull but adequate career in computers.
Well, the first I knew, there was a huge bang and glass flying everywhere. I couldn't believe it. Just like they said it would be in the advert. Look, page 38, Eyewitness Monthly. I've only had this copy a fortnight. Great value, isn't it? Am I on the 9 o'clock? This is telly, isn't it?
On the hour, catastrophe special, reactions.
And British Rail say they will launch an immediate investigation into the crash to decide they have nothing at all to do with trains and anyway they're underfunded. And if you're driving in the Big Street area, expect delays from the build-up of heavy traffic as frontbench politicians and current by-election candidates converge on the station and then tear off to nearby hospitals in an effort to appear on the same news bulletin twice. And we go back to the scene now with Roger Blatt.
And as you join me, some of the victims are being dragged out.
And one more time, please, love.
It's for a second time, actually. There wasn't enough light for the cameras on the first take.
Could you sob a bit louder, please? More sobbing.
I'm afraid what you're hearing is typical of modern television journalism.
Wave your stumps and action.
What they're doing is simply obstructing me from asking valuable questions.
Don't die yet, please.
The listener wants to hear.
The amateurs, don't die.
Excuse me. You're critically injured with a shattered pelvis, pneumothorax and partially torn off face. How do you feel?
On the hour, Disaster Plus.
Just coming up to 4:20, and Weekend PM Special tonight comes live from the besieged home of a maintenance man who will be speculatively blamed in a few hours' time, reduced to a gibbering wreck by 6 months of press harassment, and found extremely responsible for everything in about a year from now so that everyone else can carry on as if nothing had happened.
On the hour, modern yet palatable news presentation.
In a moment, the On the Hour audio pullout is the sound package which follows the sports insert. But first, we're getting news of chaos for drivers on the A1 as today's high temperatures cause the road to buckle. The Northumbrian stretch between Durham and Newcastle has been found in Shropshire. The A1M at Doncaster is now part of the Telford bypass, and 7 miles of the congested Lincolnshire section have bent due east as far as Norwich and are expected to reach the North Sea by midnight.
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. Athletics, and sprinter Linford Christie has withdrawn from tomorrow's Crystal Palace meeting in Oslo, blaming groin injury. The problem centres on possible tearing in the lower skin and a slight severing of dry tissue from the genital wall. Apparently, 7 connective membranes have been stretched and 3 have come loose, causing the inner sac to chafe against the muscle for the 3rd time this season.
Thanks so much indeed there to Alan Partridge. And later in the programme, but first, time for the audio pullout.
On the hour, the audio pullout.
Get Hip and Go, the stylish style guide for stylish young people aged 39 or under. Get Hip and Go. And now the Get Hip and Go quick guide to
Dublin.
Currently European city of culture and yet a vital and modern home to both antiquities, folklore and, of course,
a decent point of mild.
Dublin
is a city of contrast. Here the brand new skateboard park nestles neatly beside the old skateboard park. Young Pat Riley is part of the new breed of...
Dublin.
Working as a video director was always the kind of job you could only do in London or LA, that's
The Irish punt is worth £100 sterling.
There's Terry Wogan, Dr. Anthony Clare.
Who else have you worked with?
Well, nobody at all yet, to tell the truth.
Only 32% of all Dubliners have heard of patio doors, soft contact lenses or the Pet Shop Boys.
James Joyce, Yeats. Oh, kiss the Blarney Stone, will you?
99% of young Dubliners own a helicopter. 67% of women own 2 helicopters.
Oh, Danny Boy, Sinead O'Connor, and top of the morning.
Swimming is illegal.
There's Guinness, Potato Famine, of course, Jackie Charlton.
To vote in Ireland, you must own at least 4 dogs. Pomeranians do not count.
And of course, Chief Mengistu Buthelezi.
Are we on the air, sugar?
Sir.
Sir.
I.
Oh. Style.
What is?
Sir.
Sir.
I.
Oh.
Get Hip and Go asks various eminent
leaders
of fashion and
Culture.
to tell us what is.
Sir.
Sir.
I.
Oh.
I think the test as seed of style is that those with style never talk about it much.
Style is James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, Sarah Brightman.
Well, I suppose style's listening to Smokey Robinson at 2 o'clock in the morning and with a glass of Rolling Rock in one hand and Isabella Gianni on the other.
Style is what you want it to be.
Style is never what you want it to be.
Well, it's a wooden thing that helps you get over a fence.
Leaves. Leaves. Leaves.
The Leaf Valley, France, where each year the peasants pick the leaves one by one, stalk by stem, as they have for hundreds of years.
Leaves. They are leaves.
November, the Leaf Valley Leaf Tide Leaf Festival. The leaf dance is done, and at its climax, 100 of the leaves are cast to the wind.
Leaves. They are some leaves.
And now you too can share in this ancient beauty with your own stylishly, individually wrapped leaves. Les leafs naturels de leaf. Toss them, throw them, gather them in your own garden or home to the envy and delight of your neighbours. Crumpled, withered English leaves will never seem so attractive again. Les leafs naturels de leaf.
Leaves. Some leaves.
$12.99 per leaf. Also available in large bags.
Now the Get Hip and Go quick guide to Berlin.
It's in Germany.
On the hour, the audio pullout is now complete.
Fridge doesn't fart when you take the meter. Welcome back. Reports coming up in the next 40 minutes. We find out if Douglas Hurd supports the in which
We support in which
and how a last-minute rewrite has helped the Archers accommodate the release of hostage John McCarthy.
How could you do it to your poor old father? Leave me to do the milking.
When I could have been celebrating the release of hostage John McCarthy.
Joe, sit down. Come on, you don't look well.
But first, the news. A Safeway's bag stuffed with over 200 kilos of pure cocaine was handed into a Humberside police station late last night by beachcomber Alec French. Police said this morning the cocaine had an estimated street value of £33,000 million. I'm staggered, said Mr. French. It's been in the family for years, and no one thought it would fetch sixpence.
Gynecology.
The sperm count today, low, southerly, increasing 5 to 7, moderate, good.
On the hour, health check.
How do you feel about the increasing incidence of horizontal disease?
Very, very sad indeed.
Which angle of disease most worries you?
180, I would think.
Which is worse, a horizontal disease or a vertical disease?
Horizontal, I should think.
Why?
Definitely, because with a vertical, which is where you're going to be here, I would find a wall or a thing like that, and I would just stand there and hold it.
How do you feel about the recent outbreak of horizontal diseases?
Well, I think it's inevitable with the pressures we live under today.
Do you feel information's being suppressed at all?
Yes.
Who by?
The same people who suppress all other information in this country. This is the most suppressed country on earth.
How would you respond if you were confronted in a fisticuff situation with a horizontal disease?
Well, because of my past, I would learn to accept it philosophically.
You'd work it out in Nietzschean terms, perhaps?
Oh, yeah.
Of all the angles of disease in the world, which do you fear the most?
180.
What about a 35-degree disease? How frightened do you feel of that?
Acceptable.
78 degrees?
Time you did something about it.
And by the time you get to 360 degrees?
Well, you're going back where you started.
It's 38 minutes to. Over now to sport.
We haven't got it.
Right. Well, perhaps we could go over now to Senny Power and hear what's happening with the Week on 4. Who's supposed to be doing that bloody sport?
And the Week on 4 begins on Thursday at 3:15 with Afternoon Theatre. Another chance to hear Susan's Regrets, winner of this year's Sonic Daisy Award for Best Use of Sound. Mary has got some sugar, but Gerald has problems closer to home.
Tea and cake, Gerald?
Yes, please, darling.
Do it now. Do it. Do it now.
Mary, I've come about the sugar.
And you can hear Mary's reply on Thursday afternoon. On Saturday at 5 p.m, there's a start of a new series of With a Shotgun in My Mouth. Controversial psychiatrist Dr. Anthony Clare straps public figures to a wooden chair in a disused warehouse and forces them to reveal embarrassing childhood secrets by putting a shotgun in their mouth. This week, risking a mouthful of pellets, is the Duchess of Kent. Earlier on Saturday at 12:25, there's a special 3-hour edition of I'm Sorry I Have to Appear in This Programme.
Right, Graham and Barry's team. You have to sing The Girl from Ipanema, but Barry has to sing every third word, and Graham has to sing all the others. But Barry has to sing counterpane for all the words, and Graham, you have to sing bottom instead, okay? Go.
Bottom, bottom, counterpane. Bottom, bottom, counterpane. Bottom.
More fun at 7:20 this evening when Analysis returns with Mary Goldring.
With Gorbachev squaring up to hardliners, what hope for the steel industry? Is the West ready to do a deal with the East, and how will this affect Britain's schools? With the national curriculum in its infancy, who will challenge Bush for the 1992 White House? And will he have the courage to replace Liverpool's roads?
Mary Goldring will be in a chair at 7:20 this evening. On Tuesday morning at a different time, we eavesdrop on the real-life world of anglers. This week, Anglers follows Keith Stafford as he stalks the banks of the Wansbeck. Anglers at 10:30 on Tuesday on Radio 4 FM. On Longwave at that time, we go over live to the Guildhall, Westminster, for full coverage of the beheading of Rabbi Lionel Blue.
On the Hour, the face of reason in August and September.
A note from the post office. Birthdays this week. Don't forget the final posting day is Wednesday. And I think now we can go back to the sports news with Alan Partridge.
Green Desk.
Last year there were 200 million raindrops in the UK. This year there were only 190 million. If you want to know how you can help save our raindrops, then ring 0898 22 5522 and ask about adoption.
Green Desk.
Last year there were 500 types of wood in Hampshire. This year there are 600. If you know who's been leaving types of wood in Hampshire, then leave a message on 0898 33 5533.
Closing music.
And there's just time to look at tomorrow's headlines. The Times, more oxygen still needed, say the French. There's a picture of Mr. Meter on there. The Telegraph opt for Meat Man in Commando-style soap attack. The Mail lead with Dead Rhino blows through Glasgow. The Star stick with slow-motion stuntman in Leg Fury, that's for the second day running. And Alleluia Warden in Songfest barge torment, that's the Express. And that's it. Just remains for me to say, take it... right. It's o'clock at 5 o'clock. This is On the Hour.
On the Hour.
Such is politics. It's a painful business.
On the Hour.
What you mustn't do in politics is listen to people.
It's a painful business.
On Radio 4.
Such is politics.
Let us be proud of what we have accomplished.
On the Hour with Christopher Morris.
I'm Christopher Morris, and it's hello. The main stories on the hour tonight.
The headlines.
Is Linda Chalker false? No bones left in Europe, says scientist. And how tall is the royal family?
On the Hour.
Plus, coming up, Margaret Thatcher confirms that she is to replace Sylvester McCoy as the new Doctor Who.
It has to come sometime to make way for someone else, and I think this was the right time to do it.
And Foreign Secretary Douglas Hurd explains why he's glad McCoy is to go.
He's an appalling failure, and he's committed many crimes.
And the news tonight is read by the continuity announcer.
The government has announced exceptions to the restricted ownership of dangerous dogs. It will now be legal to keep a pit bull terrier unregistered, provided it is less than 8 inches long. Full-sized animals are also to be allowed if they've been fitted with a rubber skull, and experts are looking at ways of teaching them to eat with a straw.
The news. And we've been ringing round veterinary surgeries to find an expert to comment on the effects of putting a rubber skull into a dog. To discuss the issue with me on the other end of this telebalance unit is John Wills.
Ian Wills, actually, but...
Right. How effective would the new rubber jaw be?
Well, if the jaw is rubbery, then obviously the dog is going to be able to do less damage.
Wouldn't be able to bite a child's face off, then?
Well, unless the upper jaw and lower jaw are both rubbery, and
Rubbery.
The upper teeth, one imagines, could still do a fair amount.
It's to do with you. What about shaking itself dry?
Yes, one can see all sorts of problems. If it's really rubbery, it's going to end up knocking itself in the eye with its lower tooth. If the lower jaw is waving about too freely, and then it shakes itself,
flapping.
Who knows what's going to happen.
On the Hour. Modern yet palatable news presentation.
The news. A United Nations delegation in Iraq has uncovered another threat to world safety. In a secret factory near Baghdad, they discovered Saddam's henchmen with a lidded pan of hot water on a burning gas stove. Had we failed to uncover this pan, said a spokesman, it could have boiled over, seriously scalding someone's inner wrist, or put out the pilot light, creating a nasty gassy smell. And now sport.
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. Cricket, and a shock result at Lord's today when Glamorgan defeated Middlesex. I spoke to Graham Gooch in the pavilion.
Well, Graham Gooch, all out for 36. That was quick, you must be pleased.
No, it's the lowest score on record, actually, Alan. We're very disappointed.
I heard talk in the shower room that you had trouble in the groin department.
No, my groin is functioning 100%, thank you, Alan. 100%.
Golf news now. And the British Open reached its climax this afternoon at Turnberry. I spoke to Seve Ballesteros in the clubhouse.
Seve Ballesteros, it's all over, you're back in the bar. What went wrong?
Oh, well, nothing go wrong. I don't think you quite understand the principle of golf, which is that if I hit less shots, I'm back in the clubhouse very quickly. It's very good.
A lot of people been talking about your groin strain. I understand there's been a few snags, a few stretches there.
What people is this who are talking about a strain? Because it's not true.
Seve Ballesteros. Over at Hickstead for the show jumping now, and I grabbed a few moments with Lucinda Green.
Lucinda Green, you stayed on your horse all the way round. You must be pretty chuffed.
Well, I stayed on, but I had a very low score, so I'm feeling I can do a lot better next time, I hope.
Yeah, but still, you hit all the right fences. One thing that sort of troubles me is your groin strain. How bad is it? Any torn ligaments? I've been told it's a bit like a guitar string snapping.
No, I don't have any strain of that sort.
Surely the taking off the landing, there must be a strange kind of pressure on the groinal area. I was wondering how you cope with the impact.
No, I think you've got the wrong rider. I don't have any groin strain at all.
How do you deal with the inevitable muscular spasms and pains that must rack the groinal area?
I don't have any pain whatsoever.
I love the sense of humour you got there. Listen, have a can of Ralgex on Alan Partridge. I'll spray it on. Thanks.
On the Hour. never balks at issues from which other news programs might well shrink.
Our extended feature package today has been supplied by the Consumer Unit, who are on the 4th floor. It's hosted by James Tinker. Your Things. It's to do with you. Good morning, and a very good morning to you. From me, Jimmy Tinker, saying good morning, and me, Maureen Youb. Good morning to you, Maureen. And I'd like to say welcome aboard, everybody. Nice to have you about the craft. Good morning. And of course, good is what it's all about on Your Things, doing good. In fact, on my way in, I came across an old man wearing rags and drinking Brasso from a tin. And although I was in a terrific rush for this mess of a programme, I did actually find time to kick the tin from his mouth and give him a few sensible thoughts on what a bad example he was setting the children. Doing good, goody, 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 good. JT and Maureen Youb with Your Things. Haven't had a lot to do this morning, have you, Maureen?
Well, no,
Now it's time in the programme for the bit we call Peasants, where we allow you, the public, to have a go at righting some wrongs. And here to deal with it is our peasant captain, John Cartridge. Good morning, John. How's John? Good morning, James. Good morning. Our first peasant wrote to us with a complaint about yoghurt pot morality. After some cajoling, I actually got her to read it out herself so that she felt really in charge. And here's how we got on. Hello, peasant. Read this.
OK. Dear peasants, although I'm a shallow, pated proletarian imbecile, brackets, listen to how badly I'm reading, I've managed to come up with a question. What's happened to the flange on yoghurt pots? It used to be possible to reseal them by carefully crimping the foil lid back over the rim. Now the lips completely disappeared and the top's made of plastic, which you couldn't bend properly even if you bloody well wanted to. Can't anything be done? Yours, Brian Sell.
And so we set out to solve the problem. And it wasn't too long before we found a yoghurt pot man, a Mr. Dullard, and started asking him questions.
Right, Mr. Dullard, what can you tell us about yoghurt pots?
Well, they seem to be better than what it was before, to my point, you know.
Right, I'll do this, but you're obviously struggling. What can you tell us about the flanges on yoghurt pots?
Well, no, you can do nothing, really, you know.
Are you not avoiding the issue?
No, you know, it's satisfied with the...
Could you put that gun away?
Pardon?
Stop hitting me with that bit of lead, ow.
Well, no, I don't see nothing, no.
Well, understandably, after that spectacular botch job from the peasant, there was very little I could do to rescue the situation. Sorry, peasant, it looks like you messed that up.
Well, at least I got a chance to air my views. That's the important thing.
No, it isn't. I am. Now go away.
Righto, thanks very much all the same.
Yeah, go. Off you go.
Thanks very much then. Goodbye.
And thanks very much indeed to John Cartridge. And that's what we've got time for this week on Your Thing. So, it's goodbye from me, JT, and it's goodbye from Maureen too. Goodbye.
Us and they, you and we, the philosophy of the BBC. The premise that makes this programme tick is that we are clever and you are thick. And we never for a moment stop to contemplate how being carrying on the radio makes us look great. And we're very concerned about all your problems, because if they ever got solved, we'd lose our jobs.
On the Hour, the world in a tablet.
In 13 seconds' time, prayer desk, but first, the Polish philosopher Kosowary Ludes died today, aged 89. He advanced the controversial idea that government should always be regarded as culpable in its relation to the individual, but will perhaps be best remembered for his 1960s novelty record, Mr. Twaddle's Enchanted Gloves.
The Lord is like a dishwasher, and we are like some dirty plates. But it's God's love that washes us, not water, and God is an omnipresent, all-seeing force, not a time-saving household appliance.
Monsignor Traub Lopez. In a moment, this week's audio pullout. Later in the programme, the other microphone will be used to interview a politician. And today's funny story. A rich man has bought an old lavatory. That's all coming up.
The Colour Supplement. 5 glossy minutes of radio for you to keep all week. The Colour Supplement.
A room of my own. Michael Hammond is serving 15 years in Wormwood Scrubs for having an Irish grandmother. He lives in a room as compact as it is subtly lit.
I think of this room as being very much my room, even though it's Barry's room as well, and Keith's, and Tim's, and Neil's. And usually we have Graham, the serial killer, in here as well, but he's in solitary at the moment for killing David, and Peter and Stephen. Well, they call it solitary, but there's 8 of them in there.
On the wall by the coyly petite window, an arresting mural of startling photographic images meets the eye.
Yeah, Barry cuts them out of his magazines. I used to have a postcard of Chartres Cathedral up there, but Barry took it down. He said there wasn't enough totty in it.
On the Victorian table stands Michael's kettle. Modernist in design, it is a stark chrome challenge to the past.
It's a stark chrome challenge to making tea as well. Hasn't been the same since Graham the serial killer hit George, Charlie, Terry, Mick, Keith, but Bill, Ron, Brian and Rog over the head with it. They haven't been the same since either, come to think of it.
And next week, In My Pants Drawer, when award-winning playwright David Mamet analyses his underwear and explains why his brown and blue striped M&S Y-fronts have a special place in his heart.
And now, Cartoon Frolics with Peanuts, featuring good old Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown?
Yes, Linus?
Growing up is like a visit to the dentist. The pain of anticipation is naught compared to the agony of actuality.
Yeah, but there's no anesthetic for life.
This Peanuts cartoon is now available in the 517th Charles M. Schulz compilation, You're Not Funny Anymore, Charlie Brown.
Advertisement featured.
A marvellous collection of glass statuettes of British Prime Ministers. James Callaghan pictured here actual size. This limited edition of 150,000 statuettes was executed in individual lucite moulds. Order the first 5 statuettes now and receive absolutely free this beautiful porcelain Sir Alec Douglas Hume skull ashtray.
The Colour Supplement Celebrity Questionnaire. What is your name?
Keith Floyd, chef and bon vivant.
What is your favourite letter in the Greek alphabet?
Oh God, I love them all. Apart from pi. I suppose the best would have to be lambda. Oh, God knows I couldn't tell you why.
What is your favourite crop parasite?
The sarcoptic mange, mate.
Which 13th century English bishop do you most admire?
Robert Grosseteste, Bishop of Lincoln.
And do you think anyone listening is seriously interested in any of your opinions about anything?
Good Lord. Tough one.
On the hour, the audio pullout is now complete.
Sorry, I was just having a rather funny conversation with the man at the third machine behind the glass about his front door. Welcome back to On the Hour. Reports coming up over the next 38 minutes. The St Thomas's cutlery dispute goes into its 7th day.
Well, it just seems an appalling way to react over 3 forks.
And why the piano world has gone ape over Godfrey the chimpanzee.
I haven't seen anything like it. We just sat him on the stool and he started playing.
America now, and hysterical courtroom scenes as disgraced televangelist Jim Tubbard was sentenced to a total of 120 years imprisonment and 7 hours community service to run concurrently. Tubbard pleaded guilty to 3 counts of heinous embezzlement and 5 of agitated drug trafficking, but still maintained he was innocent because he had forgiven himself. Later, looking grey and ashen-faced, he emerged from the courtroom to greet his followers with a confession to further charges of bad parking and mass terrorism. Thousands of Tubbard supporters responded with cries of, "Never mind, Jim, have some more of our money."
On the Hour.
Time now for further coverage of the hostage release story. Our man watching him arrive at RAF Neville is Malcolm Box.
And you join me here on the tarmac. The plane has landed and we can see the hostage. There he is. He might be about to emerge. With me is an ex-hostage. Now, I suppose he is more likely to emerge now than he was while the plane was flying.
Yes.
Now, we know there was food on the plane, a choice of chicken or pasta.
Yeah.
What is the more likely choice of a just having been released hostage? Well, in fact, we've implanted a camera in his stomach. The correct answer is chicken.
Chicken.
And there he is emerging. He's waving his arm. It's his right arm, in fact.
Hello.
Tell me, ex-hostage, is that the more usual choice of arm for a man just 6 hours out of a 5-year spell in a foreign jail?
I suppose it depends if he's right or left-handed.
Well, what a fine sense of humour you ex-hostages display in spite of the deep psychological scars which consign you to a future lifetime of torment and anguish. And there he descends now to meet the reception committee and a warm welcome from his friends and colleagues, who are, of course, journalists.
This beaver that's kept the vigil for 5 years. Do you want to lick her hip? Do you want to lick her hip?
You're knobbing a gob. On the hour, holding up a net in the strong breeze.
Finance news. The Minister for 11 says 7 today. Crawburn Knuckle-Hurkle 5, up plenty. Decisive in-growth, Rebound a half. And the FTSE index closed down, shut, finished, good. Trial news, and the trial's been going on today. A summary now from our man on the scene. About what time did the trial begin?
About 14:30 hours local. The judge was in attendance. He's a rather portly chap, about 75 years of age. Should be retired long ago.
What's the white line for?
Well, the white line's to guide him from the lost horizon to the far horizon at the far end.
And the worm-shaped horse?
Very, very slow at the moment.
What do you make of the artist's drawing showing the proceedings today?
Absolutely abominable. I wouldn't put my grandmother's shirt on it.
Who exactly is on trial?
Well, I can't say really. It's all MI5. And the smaller ones are MI2.5.
Who did it?
We don't know. It could be Black Mike.
And the sentence?
5 years associated with England cricket team, with all fares paid, and a large amount of duty-free. He'll probably last about 2.5 years.
Will the guilty man step forward? The guns are loaded.
Hello, fall over here, 2 men, march this man away. Take him out of the dock. I don't want to be bothered.
On the hour, the time 50-50-50-50. And now our special report on caring in the community. What is it? What's happening to it? A report from Kevin Smear.
Tonight, On the Hour looks at care in the community. What is it? What's happening to it? Virginia Rumbelow, Junior Health Minister.
I'd like to think that we're taking care out of the public domain and into the private. We're giving people the right to care within their own homes. Now, I, personally, don't care, but that's my privilege.
I'm in the home of Lionel Cosgrove in Glossop in Sheffield, Derbyshire. Lionel, I believe this isn't the only home you've ever lived in.
I've had about 24 and about 12 this year. I was first moved when I was 12 and I'm now 14.
But I believe that the social services who have moved you are not, in fact, government-funded social services. Is this true?
They wear grey boiler suits and they're the men from Securicare.
Securicare made a very, very successful bid for the removal of children from home to home, and I hope very much that we have more businesses like this who will take it into their hands to say, yes, I feel I could move that child.
Yeah, well, they come in normally late at night and gag me so that my sobs and crying doesn't disturb people. I think that's quite a good idea. They then take me downstairs and just hit my foster parents a bit. I have to sign a form and give them £20, which is like the commission and their expenses and things. They then put me in the van and take me away.
An isolated incident or just the tip of the iceberg? Gordon Parnell is the Chief Warden of Fallen Leaves Residential Home for the Elderly in Preston. Mr. Parnell, how long have you been the warden here?
I've been a warden here approximately 2 years.
But I understand this wasn't the actual job you applied to the council for.
I applied originally to become a zookeeper.
What do you say to these allegations in the local press that you bound and gag your charges with rubber and that you shoot them with a drug gun?
Certainly, let me just answer the allegation. All the people thinking, oh dear, oh dear. Gordon is using some sort of dart injector gun, which is what it is, against, my relatives. What's he doing? And let me assure you.
Can you answer me the specific...
Let me assure you, the guns are very accurate. Very accurate indeed. So if anyone's worried about their relatives, I just assure them that, all right, we'll let them loose, we'll let them run around, but as soon as they get to the perimeter grounds, there's 2 perimeters, as soon as they get past the first one, I stop them with the gun. And there's no possibility of them getting out without their relatives' permission. That's what I want to make clear.
In real terms, there is 33% more caring in 1991 than there was 10 years ago, and that's a vast increase in the amount of care.
33% is an estimated projection of caring.
Well, I say realistically we could drop it down to 25% in real terms.
I think 20% in real terms would be more accurate.
Well, 23% would be better.
I'll settle for 21, but no higher.
Our company, our market research company, actually scouted a lot of people in a shopping centre in Ealing recently, and we came up with 25%. Now, that's a much higher percentage than we had before. An increase of 20%.
Yes, but I have some figures relating to your market research company, which proves that your market research company are wrong 87% of the time.
And who are these impartial observers? What percentage do they come up with?
They came up with a figure of approximately 6% importance.
You can say approximately to me as much as you like, young man. It's not going to mean anything to me. Approximate is not a word in my language.
Well, you've just been using it.
I love old people. I have fun with old people. I amuse old people. I amuse myself with old people. But
Mr. Pennell, you also kill old people.
I don't kill them. They're dying anyway. It makes no odds. You think you come here in your glasses and your shirt and think you know it all. You can come in here with as many inspectors as you like, but I tell you something, you won't walk out.
Is that a threat, Mr. Pennell?
No, you'll slip or something. It's very messy.
Can you tell me why it's so messy in your rest home, Mr. Pennell?
Because they're sick everywhere.
Where does the money go, Mr. Pennell?
If they're sick, they should clean it up themselves.
Do you not think that your position as a junior health minister must be questionable at this moment?
Yes, I do.
So can we expect a resignation soon?
Yes, you most certainly can.
Can we have it now?
Would you like it now in writing?
Virginia Rumbelow, ex-junior health minister of state, thank you very much.
Yes. Kevin Smear with that rather disturbing report.
On the hour. Serious news programming with the ability to remain broad-minded.
Since last week's health campaign, we've been overwhelmed with letters asking for more information. So if you're worried about catching a disease, we've prepared a special prophylactic pack. Write to On the Hour and ask for the Don't Catch a Disease face suit. Filters out plagues and illnesses before they can get through your face. Special triple-wadded filters clamp tightly over vulnerable intakes like the nose and mouth. Dense swathes of gauze and muslin swaddle your frontispiece, and the head jacket is secured with staples to the ears, nasal septum and eyelids. A disinfectant reservoir ensures that every 5 minutes the facial cloak is perfused with 7 litres of strong sterilizing fluid. With a choice of 3 tweed coverings, the face suit makes an attractive fashion accessory for cultural evenings or top-level international peace treaty summits. And you'll be setting a good example too. A large head placard proclaims, "I'm wearing a special germ-excluding face suit so I don't catch a disease." And the address for the face suit and your comments about issues raised by the programme is On the Hour, BBC Broadcasting House, London W1A 1AA. And that's just about it for this lunchtime. Next week, On the Hour will be coming live from Edinburgh for full coverage of the festival.
We're not going.
We're not going. Why?
On the Hour.
And just time to have a look at tomorrow's papers. The Times, shaved swan builds link road. There's a photograph there of a pot of glue. The Express, web-digging fortnight suspended. The Guardian, thieving wasp leaves thousands homeless. While the Mirror have Bishop's broken lip in biscuit horror. And The Sun opting for bungalow tenor in adult recognition siege. And don't forget, as from Monday, all taxis in London will be carrying bicycles free of charge. That's it. I'm Christopher Morris. You're not. Due to recent events, tonight's On the Hour has been cancelled. In its place is the one that would have gone out instead.
On the Hour.
Such is politics. It's a painful business.
On the Hour.
What you mustn't do in politics is listen to people.
It's a painful business.
On Radio 4.
Such is politics.
Let us be proud of what we have accomplished.
He is an appalling failure
and he's committed many crimes.
On the Hour with Christopher Morris.
Hello from me, Christopher Morris, and from me. And throughout tonight's programme, we'll keep you abreast of events as they unwrinkle. But first...
The headlines.
Life pier in wind tunnel disaster, international string lengths agreed, and Sri Lankan diplomat expelled for copying rice.
On the Hour.
Plus, coming up, Margaret Thatcher explains why she went and shot all the Queen's dogs.
They came out in the streets in the hundreds of thousands. They weren't going to let go. They weren't going to let go.
And tonight's feedback campaign from you, the public, the law.
Right, today we're looking at the death penalty.
Death penalty, yes.
What do you think should be the penalty for death?
I think in some cases you should hang them.
So if you die, you should be hanged?
Yes.
And since we've been on the air, 7 more extraordinary moments have happened. Because of this, On the Hour will tonight be going out continuously. And reaction to those events has been immediate.
Finger.
Paddy Ashdown, President Bush...
Overall.
And David Steele.
Tentacles.
But, said Mr. Major...
That.
And I'm joined now on the telephone by reporter Jed Boyce, who's standing next to the hole out of which the events are emerging. Hello, Jed.
Good afternoon, MFI French Stores Guy speaking. How can I help you?
Jed, what's the latest?
Sorry?
What's the latest in the situation down there?
In respect of what?
The developing situation as it happens.
Oh, well, this promotion at the moment...
Yes?
He finishes the 28th of this month.
And who's going to be in charge when it finishes?
Mr. Morgan.
Is anyone with you at the moment?
We've got a Mr. Humphreys.
Would it be worth my while speaking to him?
Okay, if you could hold, please.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Humphreys speaking.
Good afternoon. Can you tell us any more?
Concerning what, sir?
Perhaps you could just tell me what you can see.
What's in front of me at the moment?
Yes.
For war, sir.
Is there anybody there with a gun? Hello? Oh, go away.
On the Hour, the world in a tablet.
It's 2-1. You're listening to On the Hour.
On the Hour.
On the Hour. And because of today's events, it's time for environmental news.
Green Desk.
Green News update from me, Rosie May. Events diary for this week. On Monday, there's a bat workshop and optional roost visit in Marlow. Meet at 7 p.m. by the pond. Those of you in Kilmarnock can enjoy a guided ramble round Boddock's Quarry, including a chance to draw, paint or sculpt your favourite part in the gravel workings.
Green Desk.
There's a sponsored seal cull and otter smashing expedition in the Isle of Man at the weekend. Bring a big stick and a bag.
Green Desk.
The town of Whitstable in Kent is to host a Don't Drop Litter Day. People will come from all over the country bringing large amounts of everyday litter, such as sweet wrappers and Coke tins, but not drop them. They'll carry the litter around the town, waving it proudly, and then take it home with them again. Anyone dropping some of their litter will be given a light-hearted comedy forfeit and have their heads shaved and tattooed with the words, "Enemy of Planet Earth."
Environmental news. If it's green, we'll cover it.
Thank you, Rosie. It's 1991, and due to the increased speed of recent events, the broadcast of 9 Lessons and Carols from King's College, Cambridge on Christmas Eve has been cancelled. And now over to Brian Bancroft in the test drive studio to find out which car he's been test driving this week.
I've been driving in my car. Baby, you can drive my car. Cars are cars all over the world.
Well, Chris, this week I've been test driving the new Vauxhall Nova.
I've been driving in my car. Baby, you can drive my car. Cars are cars all over the world.
And we'll be joining Brian next week as we join him again to find out what car he's been test driving on that occasion.
On the Hour leaves the apple to ripen on the bough, then harvests it at tremendous speed.
Steve Hyness with that report. Meanwhile, the speed of recent events has increased to 130. In our Oslo studio is Foreign Secretary Douglas Hurd. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Douglas Hurd. And in the last minute, we've just heard that we've received the rest of today's sports news with Alan Partridge.
Sports Desk, I'm Alan Partridge. The World Snooker Championships in Reading were thrown into chaos this afternoon when midway through the Steve Davis-Jimmy White quarter-final, a young child stood up in the audience and shouted, "Hold on, all this game is two blokes hitting some balls around a table for a couple of hours. Where's the entertainment value in that?" The rest of the audience realised how foolish they'd been for so many years, and the disillusioned players were unable to continue. Later on, the British Open Golf Championship was thrown into chaos today when, as Nick Faldo prepared to putt on the 17th green, a young child stood forward from the group of spectators and shouted, "What a swizz! This is just a load of old blokes in sweaters knocking a ball about with a stick." Faldo was cited later in the bar, mumbling, "What's the point of it all?" into an empty glass.
News now. Today's meeting of the United Nations was cast into turmoil when midway through a heated discussion, a small child shouted from the public gallery, "Hang on a minute, this is just a load of old men shouting at each other with those things in their ears. It's all quite pointless." Delegates were visibly shocked. There was a small outbreak of confusion. Then everybody just resigned and wandered home. Now, for the next 45 seconds, Radio 4 is splitting wavelengths. On long wave, you can hear Prayer Desk, while here on FM, we continue with full coverage of events. Terence Stamp, there's a strange synchronicity.
Leap up, lame man. Jesus and his band of musicians are number one in the chart of heaven. On Thursday, my wife, Joyce, got her arm caught in a threshing machine, and it was ripped clean off. "Ah, ow," she cried, "my arm." "Oh, you fool," I said. "You think you suffer now without your arm. Then let us consider how much greater was the suffering of our Lord in his anxiety over the moneylenders."
To be ramming 7 acres of underfelt into the hole. Terence Stamp. And now the rest of today's news: housing, cricket, education and business.
On the Hour campaign.
Each week, It's Your Mouth seeks public opinion on our campaign issue.
Keep the law.
People go on about tightening up the law, don't they?
Yes.
What are your feelings about that particular idea?
I agree thoroughly with it, yeah.
A couple of turns or a bit more, do you say?
Well, you say a couple, I say about 6.
What effect do you think those 6 turns would have?
I would hope that it would bring them back to their senses.
Make its presence felt in their brain sack?
Yes.
So looking at it in terms of this elastic band, which would be the ideal tension? This one, number 1, this one, number 2, or this one, number 3?
2.
Number 2?
Yeah.
On the Hour, it's a magazine programme with a very broad brief.
It's 13 minutes to, and if you've just joined us, the time. On the Hour event special now continues on CFAX page 4. On this frequency, this week's audio pullout is supplied by the staff of Get a Life magazine, your guide to what to do with yourself in your free time. Dominic Fitch, as the events napkin unswivels...
Get a Life. Very interesting things to do for people with lots of spare time. Get a Life. Truro's top tourist attraction. 3 miles from Truro on the A3076 Truro New Quay Road. Come and visit Worm World. Yes, a whole world of worms. Fun for all the family. See thousands of different worms from all over the West Country in their natural habitat, the ground. Visit Wild Worm Arena World and the hilarious French Revolution worm diorama. Our tame worms are tossed towards your hands by trained volunteers. Probably the largest collection of worms in the West Country. Worm World, Truro 0872 223 5689. You won't have to worm your way in, there's a gate. Get a Life. Hobbies.
This week's hobbyist is Clive Tubman of Hales Owen.
My hobby is that hobby of collecting different sounds of different types upon my audio cassettes that I buy at the shops. A day in my hobby can start as soon as I wake up. Ah, the alarm clock. I better tape its sound that it is making. Alarm clock, Friday the 12th of July 1991. Around midday, I usually go down to the shopping centre, where all my fellow sound collectors gather to collect sounds of things. Shopping centre, 1300 hours, 12th of July.
Good morning, Clive.
Ian Dealey's voice.
I've typed some good sounds today, Clive. A prayer moving, a bird, and a stick in the gutter. I made a copy of the stick if you want to trade.
No, I've got lots of stick sounds.
Would it be possible to hear some of your favourite sounds?
Interviewer's voice speaking, 1507.
Yes, thank you for asking. They can be heard. They are sounds, after all.
Yeah. No, I mean, can you play some of them to us now?
Oh, all right.
Sounds being heard, 1508.
This one is the sound of an old woman's face slapping against the windscreen of my speeding car. It was very hard to get. I had to do it 4 or 5 times, and on one of the times, I'd forgotten to switch on my recorder. Do you want to hear it?
No. I actually think we'd better be going.
Bored? Want weekend fun? Strongly disapprove of traffic congestion? Like hats with yellow and black enamel badges on them?
Then the sealed clamp is for you.
Every weekend we meet up, don the uniforms of the great traffic wardens of London and reenact classic vehicular confrontations.
But I was only away for 2 minutes.
You could have blocked the passage of a fire engine and caused hundreds to die in an inferno, you thoughtless fascist.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
I didn't realise this was a no parking zone.
Oh, well, I didn't realise this Uzi was loaded.
Yes, it's a fun weekend of gridlock untangling mayhem. Clamp the Porsche. Put a ticket on that Lamborghini. For more information about the sealed clamp, ring 075 257525. That's the ticket.
And now the Get a Life guide to free events around the country.
September the 5th, Stylish Names Day, the Lake District. Head up with your unstylish name like Ian, Alec, Keith, Graham, or Sarah if you're a woman. Well, never mind. Come along to the Lake District, where in the beautiful surroundings you can pretend to have a different and stylish name for a day on your own. You could be Rock, Crispin, Trevor, Spanky McFarland, or Sarah if you're a woman. And it's free. Remember to organise your own food, accommodation and transport, and to be on your own.
September the 9th, Shape and Colour Free Home Think Tank Hour. Stay at home on your own for an hour and think about shapes and some colours. And it's free. Remember, black and white are not colours in the true sense.
September 12th, Farnham Malting's Texture Afternoon for kids and pensioners. Kids are still developing their sense of touch, and old people may have lost theirs, so how can either group be expected to choose the ideal lounge or bedroom furniture covering fabric? Texture volunteers at the Maltings Farnham will blindfold and gag all guests on the day and rub differently textured objects against the sensitive areas of the old people's and children's texturally underdeveloped bodies. Fancy a pumice stone on your eye, a hamster against the rough skin on the bottom of your feet, the mess from the inside of the nozzle of a modern garden hose against your thigh or genital? Then get along on the day, but only if you are a child or very old.
On the hour, the audio pullout is now complete.
Welcome back to On the Hour, Events Plus. Coming up over the next strand of programming, another disturbing report on childcare from our reporter Kevin Smear.
This is obviously painful for you to talk about, but please continue to talk about it.
What do you want me to say?
Just say how unhappy you are with the present situation.
I'm very unhappy with the present situation.
Plus, we talk to the butcher from Islip for whom meat spells danger.
The next thing I knew, it went off in my hands.
But the main story today has, of course, been the continuous unravelling of events. Earlier today, I spoke to Foreign Secretary Douglas Hurd for his response.
The local farmer's Angus bull had found me and thought it was great fun to roll me down the riverbank and in toward the river and me still inside a damn bag. Needless to say, you've never seen anyone come out of a sleeping bag faster than I got out of that one.
Douglas Hurd. The rest of today's news is read by the continuity announcer.
Scientists today are claiming a major breakthrough in head transplant surgery. The operation involved replacing the head of a mouse with a human finger. Digit donor Slap Tantrum said, "At first I was disconcerted by the absence of my right index finger, but I felt much better when I saw it scampering around a cage on the end of a mouse." WAG technicians, who call the new animal sconce knuckle, declared the operation a complete success and insist the finger-face rodent is delighted with its new shape. But slaphead behaviour baron Des Morris is deeply concerned. These people should have learned their lesson when they tried to equip a dog with the neck of an earwig. Mammals are vain creatures, and with no face, the sconce knuckle will feel deeply humiliated and could start running into things in fits of self-loathing. The dog drowned itself after assuming it had turned into a fish. New education proposals announced this morning will require all primary school infants to play golf. The Education Secretary said, "It's a matter of irrefutable fact that no one has ever been educated under a Labour government."
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. Fishing news.
Shut up, Alan. I want you to stop. News has just come through, and I'm afraid it's war. This report from our reporter, Peter Porter.
It's the High Priest of Battles. It started when the minister cut the ribbon and declared the war open. My name's Peter Porter. This is my war. Blinking like a groggy giraffe with dust in its eye caught in the 7,000-watt beam of a low-flying aircraft on the darkest night of the year, I stumbled from my bunker this morning. The bunker I had dug with the men from the battalion. Good men, strong men, each one capable of pulling the trunk of a cock elephant at 30 yards. And now, my comrades and friends too, allowing me to wear combat clothes and run ahead of the tanks into battle. As I speak, swarms of missiles narrowly miss my head. There goes one. I'm running over to see now how many of my new friends are just so much charred flesh and bone. My right arm's just been blown off. There's a camera crew. Look at me. Look at me. My right arm's just been blown off. Thank you. And on into battle. Oh, there goes my other arm. The sound you can hear now is my lower torso being vaporized, but never mind. It's not my safety that counts. Information is paramount. Strap my head to the rocket and blast me into the center of battle. 13 megaton warheads exploding all around. Rivers of blood. I counted them out. Oh, sorry, the sound effects. The sound effects broken. Bugger. Sodding sound effects.
On the hour, in the thick of the action, with a microphone.
And I believe the press conference is about to start. We'll join them now.
Oh. You're looking good like I knew you would. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can I have the first question, please?
How many baddies are dead?
Good question, Sonny. My favorite weapon is called Snark. It's an intelligent missile capable of blowing up people in 3 languages. You'll see on this piece of combat film how it steers itself through the air vent into the towelhead's mouth, through the lung, and into the heart, where it explodes with so little collateral damage he doesn't even realize he's dead. Price $3 billion. Sorry, no more questions. You've been a great audience. Back after this word.
On the hour tells you what happens when people stop fighting.
And our strategy correspondent is on the line now, Michael Blatt. Michael, who are you standing next to?
I'm standing next to... What's your name?
Michael.
Michael, who's a situation expert. Michael, what's going on in this war as we look at it?
Well, what I can see is just people walking around and you have traffic going past.
Who do you think's got the upper hand in the war?
The traffic, to a certain degree.
Strategically, how are these people involved?
Oh, well, put it this way. One side of the street, they're okay. But on the other side is a bit congested there. And it's a bit awkward for some people with prams, just as that lady there, to go past other people.
How many people will be killed tomorrow in this senseless mess?
Well, it'd be hard to say. I mean, as I'm looking now, I can see a lot of people just walking past now and taking a risk.
Tomorrow they could be just another victim of the war.
Well, that's true, yeah.
What can be done to improve matters in general?
If there was more thought given to pedestrians...
Then there may be no more war.
Well, yeah, probably so, yeah.
Well, Michael, thanks very much for taking the time to stand in the middle of this war and talk to us.
Yeah, okay, no worries.
On the hour, front row seats in the Stadium of War.
Michael Blatt reporting from the war. And Radio 1 disc jockey Wayne Carr is visiting the men and relaying messages home. Hello, Wayne, there's a lot of noise. Can you hear me?
Well, I'm not sure about that, John, but I can tell you something. It's pretty noisy out here.
Well, I'll stop talking then and let you just get on with it.
Look, I think it's probably best if you stop talking and let me get on with it then.
Yeah, that's just what I...
And now, Radio 1 presents, live from the middle of a war, Wayne Carr.
And we're out here today in the middle of the war with the man of the 52nd Combat Corps. Gotta tell you, they're a great bunch of guys, and we're getting along great guns, aren't we, fellas?
Yes.
Counting every single one of them as a genuine friend. And doing their request today, not allowed to play Puff the Magic Dragon because it reminds everybody of flamethrowers, but I am going to cram in as many of your dedications as possible because I've got a very strong feeling that most of you will, in a word, be shuttling off your brief candle in next to no time. All right, so what's your name?
Private Colin Snope. I'm on the radio, mate.
Nice for you to talk to me, Cole. And who's the beaver?
Michelle Drebs. Michelle Norwich.
So she lives in Norwich, huh?
No stands for knickers off for anyone I'll come home.
Yep, I knew that all along, actually. Nice message for you there, Mish. And luckily that one was on tape because... And I'd change your name as soon as you can, Michelle, to protect your identity. You see, just a couple of hours ago, Colin was just literally blown apart by a rocket. You may be comforted to know his bloody head screamed something which sounded a little bit like your name as it flew through the air. And let's just hope that there's somebody in England you could, I guess, snuggle up close to and enjoy the comforts of carnal abandon with, in much the same way as you did with Colin. Let's face it, they're all the same with the light off. Meanwhile, it's time for us to collect up the remains and play.
Radio 1. Now, not even our news service can be everywhere at once. That's where interpreters like war composers come in. Men who travel to the lines to experience the harsh realities of war, then communicate those realities in the form of music. This year's official war composer is Michael Philip Neumann, and here's a repetitive from his work entitled War Goes Bang.
War goes bang.
Bang goes a man with a gun in his hand, shooting at another man who falls over with the shock of the slug hitting him in the chest. Dum 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 is the name of the bullet used, having a notch cut in the tip to maximize the ballistic effect. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2.
People get nervous and stutter.
Bomb 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 bomb.
Bombs fall onto the ground.
E-R-E-R-E-R.
Donkeys get in the way.
Da 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 da.
Ists would be proud of the mess.
And the heavy question people always ask about war is, will it ever?
The war. What's next?
I don't know.
Closing music.
Just time for tomorrow's headlines. The Times, three-faced man in cowboy attraction racket. There's a picture there of one of the man's faces looking cross. The Independent lead with bark-shop decisions leave Wessex in tatters. The Sun, Douglas turd. Today, opt for Soweto snooker troll provides wildlife hesitation. And finally, The Mirror, chopstick agony for sump attendant. On the Hour continues on this frequency. If you wish to hear Radio 4's normal programmes, here's a packet of sand and a piece of old skin. That's it. I am Christopher Morris. Christopher Morris, I am. What do you find most useful about the top-rated newsarama that is On the Hour?
Breakfast television news.
No, On the Hour.
Don't really know, to be honest.
You've got the answer wrong. What you mean to say is you listen to it all the time.
Yeah, I do.
Good. And furthermore, if you were captured and held for 5 years in a foreign jail, you would listen to it all the time.
Certainly would.
Say I would listen to On the Hour all the time.
I would listen to it on the hour all the time and look forward to it.
Thank you. And as you lay chained to the wall, kicking about in the straw and filth, what would be your one ray of hope?
Just to listen to that news.
What's its name?
On the Hour.
On the Hour.
On the Hour, yeah.
On the Hour.
On the Hour.
On the Hour.
On the Hour is the name of the program.
The name of the programme which you would listen to at all times
is On the Hour.
Which you'd have nailed to your head.
Yeah.
The big hands pointing to the 7. This is On the Hour.
On the Hour. Such is politics. It's a painful business.
On the hour.
What you mustn't do in politics is listen to people.
It's a painful business. On Radio 4. Such is politics.
The news which the BBC is reporting is very confused, and that's quite right.
On the hour with Christopher Morris.
I'm Christopher Morris, for it is I. Tonight's Sizey stories.
The headlines.
19 in fog-bound bakery collision. Dinosaurs died out on a Tuesday, claim experts. And where now for 107 of Ridley's children?
On the hour.
Plus, coming up, Bush in televised appeal for updated Pentagon office equipment.
Send more money. Send more dough. Let's get the facts.
And the Queen Mother speaks openly for the first time of her relationship with John Major.
He's good round the place. I find him a breath of fresh air. He's good to work with. He's very enthusiastic. And, I'm delighted for the boy. He's come from nowhere. He's made good, and I wish him all the very best at Chelsea.
And the news tonight is read by the continuity announcer.
Over 700 people have been killed this weekend in a dramatic reconstruction of the Anglo-Saxon battle at Remp in Essex. The event was organised by the Soiled Nut Society, who like to reconstruct battles between defending King Stit of Cernugalegging and the invading Viking Whalecock, who sacked the town in 991 BC. Things just got out of hand, said the chairman. 1 minute everyone was having fun in their costumes, the next there was blood and entrails flying through the air and landing on my face. More deaths are expected tonight. Survey news, and cream is good for you if you're left-handed, according to a survey in this week's Which Survey magazine. The report says that apparently cream is good for you if you're left-handed.
The news. Time now for Sports Desk with Alan Partridge, and you're a bit of a cream man, I understand, Alan.
I certainly wouldn't say no, a bit of the old cream, certainly, and I know a lot of people say, hold on with the cream there, not so good for the old ticker, but I certainly say give us another spoon of cream. Yeah.
Do you drink it out of a cup?
Out of a cup? I don't know. Certainly if there was a bit of a trifle at the bottom, I'd probably say put some cream on that, please. Or probably. And probably have a few more if I was really hungry. This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. And transfer news. Arsenal have bought a special Letraset action transfer pack, which includes an alien landscape and a set of 15 transfer figures of spacemen and monsters. It's great, says manager George Graham. It gives us the chance to create our own alien world with men and monsters depicted in battle or at rest as we imagine it. Title contenders Liverpool manager Graham Souness says he's not worried by this development, arguing that his multi-million-pound signings of Dean Saunders, Mark Wright and the real Ghostbusters fridge magnet should put them in contention at the end of the season.
On the hour, Rich Pickings at the Media Events Interface.
It's 3:30.
On the hour.
Time now.
On the hour.
For
On the hour.
Green Desk.
Green Desk.
Events diary. A large jug of organic water is on display in Frettenham by the town clock. Visitors are requested to enter by the side.
Green Desk.
The Oxford University Animal Research Department finally admitted to satisfied anti-vivisectionists that there was no need for their cruel experiments on animals. But the protesters' faces fell at the news that the university intended to continue with the experiments just for a laugh.
Environmental news. If it's green, we'll cover it.
Rosie May with Green Desk, and remember, at this time of year, not everything is green.
At home.
The M25 is missing today. The controversial road system, famed for its long delays and traffic congestion, vanished earlier this morning. Police say this is just the latest in a spate of serious road thefts and have issued a description of a man seen by local residents yesterday scraping the surface of the road with a spoon. With me to discuss the issue is Transport Police Officer Mark Plimmer. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mark Plimmer. The time is 28 to 2:30. Now this week's special report, which squints at how the recession has hit the centuries-old family matchmaking firm of Barton's Matches. Susan Chaffinch went up to Brainsbury to visit the Barton's factory and watch it sack all its employees. There she met the owner, Sir Gerald Barton, but her report opens with the voice on tape of her asking to Gavin Trawl, the company's London marketing consultant, what he was doing for the company, Barton's Matches, to her question. Who in sodomy wrote that?
What are you actually doing for Barton's Matches?
don't know where to start. Lots. What I did was I got rid of the gruffers. Now, I know you're going to say, what are gruffers, Gav? Well, they're the men who attach the sandpaper to the boxes, and I thought, why? What are they doing, you know? And I, you know, quite brutally, but, you know, you've got to be brutal to be brutal, really. And I got rid of them all, sacked them, in fact, fired them, said ciao, and hired a Belgian firm of hairdressers. Why? People say, Gavin, why? And I say, simple. They're not experienced, but they are a lot cheaper.
For Sir Gerald, the Barton's collapse is overshadowed by more personal tragedy. There was an accident, Sir Gerald, last year involving a small boy at Matchland.
Matchland is a theme park, and the idea was to reproduce exact replicas of every capital city of Europe in matches. Not actual size, obviously. And this young lad was in Rome. He got a bit excited. He was a Catholic family. They got a bit excited at the Vatican. His mum had some cooking oil in a shopping bag, and one thing led to another. The oil spilt over the Vatican. We have a mock pope who waves a sort of matchstick about. It's rather moving. They got a bit excited, and the dad lit a fag, and there was a kerfuffle, and the whole of Rome, and Venice as well, in fact, went up, and half of Amsterdam. And the lad got caught in the blaze and got singed.
Apparently there was a relaunch with Barton's matches only a month ago. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
The idea was a TV campaign, which involved two muscular young people striding through a sea of flame, clutching a huge sword, and suddenly a huge flaming bee emerges from under their feet, and flowers and trees burst into blossom all around them. Fantastic, stupendous.
Did it up the sales figures at all?
Well, you know, if you want a straight answer, then I'm not your man.
Why do you think, Gavin, that sales did plummet after this relaunch campaign?
Well, in the commercial, we kind of were subliminally saying, you know, buy this product, but didn't say it in a straightforward, buy this product kind of Anglo-Saxon English kind of scenario. We forgot to mention the matches.
How has all this affected your lifestyle, Sir Gerald?
We lived in a very, very nice house, very big house, lots of grounds, and fortunately in the grounds we took the provision of building a sort of a lodge where we kept tools. It's a sort of wooden lodge, a lodge-like shed, and we've been camping there recently. It's quite comfortable there.
Do you have electricity and running water?
We have running water from it. There's a bucket and there's a pond.
But what does the Barton's collapse mean for Sir Gerald's employees? I talked to Lionel Cosgrave, a 52-year-old unskilled blue-collar worker.
Well, technically speaking, my title is the urine man. Basically, I come into the factory at 6 a.m. and I come and lie consecutively in the urinals, starting with the small boys' urinal and then gradating to the other 3 urinals. And then if there is any urine on the floor or in the cubicles or on the cubicle seats, I can lie on them. Every day is different. I want you to understand that.
Sir Gerald, Lionel Cosgrove has been an employee of yours for over 40 years. Are you actually aware of his job?
Oh, aye, Lionel. He's urine man. He's the best. He's top-notch. Why, do you have a problem with that, do you? Something you don't like with your southern ways?
Well, a man who lies in urine all day for a job, I don't really call that a job.
Well, nobody asked you.
I'd like to stress that we urine men are very proud. You know that you've done your job well if you're not noticed as a urine man. I'm sure there are other jobs like that, like street cleaners or theatrical designers.
Great bloke, kind of bloke that, you know, companies are built on. And I remember going down into the toilet and having a bit of a good old laugh with him and then saying, "Pooh, I've got to get out of here." But I haven't left him out. No. He certainly is, he's paramount in my mind. And believe me, he won't have a job on Monday.
Susan Chaffinch there with those 4 minutes.
On the hour. Never balks at issues from which other news programmes might well shrink.
News now. And we've just received this SOS message. Will Hippolyta Loudbasket, currently on holiday in Uxbridge, please get in touch with a doctor? You are seriously ill. And we're receiving news that gold fever has broken out in the Midlands after the discovery of large quantities of the valuable metal in the River Trent. Water supplies are being exhausted as millions of bounty hunters leave their taps running in the hope that large chunks of bullion will fall out and make them rich. If you want to know more information, phone the Trent Water Authority and say, "I'd like to know how to get gold out of my water." After the break, why the town of Dunstable is suing Tony Gubber for its lost stables. But first, this week's audio pullout. The next few minutes of airtime have been bought by Tab FM, the American station run by the Seventh Tabernacle Church of Reformed Adventists.
The Tab, the official organ of the Seventh Tabernacle Church of Reformed Adventists. The Tab.
Hey, you, young person. What do you think you're doing?
There is nothing to do. None of the square grown-ups care about us kids. What's the blinking point?
But there are some grown-ups who care.
There are?
Yes, and they've organized a meeting for all young people with rock and roll sounds, cakes and fizzy drinks.
Fabo? Where is it?
It's at the Seventh Church of Reformed Adventists, Peckham High Street, right by the laundry.
Oh no, a church? Boring.
No, it isn't.
Oh, all right, you've talked me into it. But what will this meeting involve?
Young people, dancing and singing to the beat of the Goombay Dance Band, painting murals about their lives and experiences on walls, not being hassled by adults unless they really step out of line in some way, playing ping pong and wearing whatever clothes they like, even slacks. It's up to you. Then after, we'll talk about God for a couple of hours. But it'll be interesting and fun, though.
Yeah, it's just the kind of thing I'd choose to do if I had any choice I wanted. Oh, but hold on. My friends will call me dull.
Don't worry about what they say. It's you who's important. And in any case, they are the whorish sons of Satan who are going to burn in hell.
Oh, great. Well, I guess I'll see you at the meeting.
Protect your property. Protect your family. Protect your faith. Ward off homosexuals and liberals with this. The Seventh Tabernacle Church of Reformed Adventists liberal and homosexual scaring device. Scares liberals and homosexuals and consistently repeats the warning.
Liberals and homosexuals, go away. Liberals and homosexuals, go away.
Can you afford to be without it?
$45.89 only, the price of security.
The beginnings of the planet Earth as the heathen unbelievers would have us think it was. Giant fire-breathing lizards, flying shark-toothed air snakes, and an eel with the head of an otter. It certainly seems foolish to us who know the truth about how God created the whole of everything in 6 days. And how did these unenlightened dunces convince themselves of their so-called theory?
Well, they found dinosaur bones in the ground and frozen mammoths in the ice. And I mean, there's reams of scientific and geological evidence to prove that the world is in fact millions of years old.
It could almost be a sketch by Kenny Everett. Can't they just understand that it was God who put this supposed evidence there as a sort of joke, and to test us, of course, to make sure we really believe properly through faith and mysterious things, not because of seductive evidence and the harlot proof, because if you are a God, that's the sort of thing you like to do, because you can.
Hey, buddy, got a light?
Yes, my friend. This lighter is the light of faith. See how it shines.
Wowie zowie!
The Light of Life lighter, only $21.25. Not to be used for lighting cigarettes, the amusement of devils.
Power of the Spirit, transparent cling film. You can't see it,
but it's there.
$13.28.
People doing sin. The fools. Don't they know what's going to happen? Haven't they read the Revelation of St. John? He says,
In the year 1999, the world will be run by a computer called Satan, a clever concealment of the name Satan. And then a huge spaceship piloted by angels will descend from the skies, and all the good people will be sucked into it. And the bad people will be attacked by radioactive weevil insects and invisible vampires, and be spun into a giant web and have their blood sucked out slowly by others. And I'd like to see them sin after that.
yes, it's all there in St. John. The only way to save your soul is to join our church and book your place on board the Saucer by ringing 0893-77-666. Reservations $300,000 or $500,000 for first class.
On the hour, the audio pullout is now complete.
Welcome back to On the Hour. Stories coming up after the semicolon. Outcry over domestic squalor in Corbridge.
How do they expect us to sleep with all these beds in the way?
Plus, 3 days on and the clean-up continues in Chester Zoo's Antelope House.
I am still shocked. I mean, the blades must have come right through here. The ones that died were the lucky ones. I mean, look at him.
But first, the news. All milk should be sterilised. That's the verdict of a Commons Select Committee report published tomorrow. Unsterilised milk is dangerous to the health and causes diseases. When informed that it is already common practice to sterilise milk, the chairman of the committee replied, "Oh well, that's no fun then." Finance news. 5555515 up down.
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. Hunting. Buckinghamshire's radical new vegetarian hunt has run into teething troubles. Their pack of rabbits has responded well to training, but the local children, paid to drag vegetables at speed through the fields and woodland, became tired very quickly, meaning the hunt ended early with the successful but unsatisfying capture of a turnip, 3 carrots and some leaves. Some veggie burgers left in a local garden were liberated by carnivore hunt saboteurs, who left confusing trails of salad dressing along busy roads and railway lines. Racing tips today. At the 3:30 at Tavistock, we go for number 5, Santa's Boyfriend. And the 4:30, the Barbara Bush Handicap, we put our money on horse number 2, Dr. Jeremy Simpson. The going at Tavistock today was good to flimsy.
Alan Partridge with today's sport. And I understand over the weekend, Alan, your wife died.
Certainly, straight like a bolt out of the blue, as they say. Was just working on the extension and got a phone call, and that was it. She was gone. Certainly.
There's an inevitable psychological backlash which could last up to 10 years.
Yes. Well, certainly I'm hoping it's going to be a bit shorter than that. I've seen a guy for counselling and trying to sort of keep things in perspective, certainly keep things together. It's the important thing.
Still, nice to have a bit of time to yourself.
Yeah.
Green Desk.
Green news update from me, Rosie May. Old women's pants. Burning old women's pants is a fantastic and viable alternative to oil-based and nuclear fuels, claims Mr. Philip Griffiths of Solihull, who has designed and built a 12-seater minibus that runs entirely on old women's pants.
Rosie May. And I bet you one day she will.
On the Hour campaign.
Last week, our law campaign exposed festering sores in the flank of public understanding. This week, It's Your Mouth gives you the chance to solve the problem.
Follow the letter of the law.
Is the letter of the law followed closely enough?
No.
How closely should we follow it?
Well, we ought to be right up on top of it, within about an inch of it, murder.
Within about an inch?
Yeah.
At what sort of speed should we follow it?
50 mile an hour.
What in your book is the letter of the law?
M.
Is it big enough at the moment for people to see, this M?
No.
How big should it be?
Oh, about 6'6".
On the Hour, the face of reason in August and September.
Now, if you live in a region, you'll probably be aware of the value of regional broadcasting. Jimmy Tinker of our Let's Look Local unit has this special report.
It's your region, it's your region, it's your region.
Hello and welcome to It's Your Region with me, Jimmy Tinker.
Welcome, welcome, hello, hello, welcome, hello.
And this week we're at Target, near Clister, the county town of Loaf. And as I've discovered to my cost today already, that's with a PH, not an F.
It's your region, you know where it is and how to spell its name.
Loaf shares its borders with Larkshire, Boset and Wilk.
It's a region with a character all of its own.
It's a region with a character all of its own.
As our reporter
Michael Brass
has been finding
out.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
My, you have got a funny local accent. You don't work with your hands for a living by any chance, do you?
No, sir.
I can tell, actually, because even though you sound like a straw-sucking eagle, you do know who to call sir.
Oh, yes, that's right.
How do you say, yes, that's right?
Yes, that's right.
In fact, you say, oh, yes, that's right, after everything everybody says, don't you?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Can you talk us through your choice of clothes when you get up in the morning?
Just get dressed.
Just get dressed like that?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Well, you do seem jolly unsophisticated. What about music? How do you listen to music?
Just listen to it, relax with it on, sit back and hum them or whistle.
Do you mean you don't actually sit there and write it all down?
Oh, no.
What a good old-fashioned surf you are. Thanks very much for taking the time to show us how backward everybody is around here. It really has been awfully funny.
Thank you very much indeed.
Looking round your region, we're Region Legion.
The local television programme for Target is Bang on Target, hosted by Michael Bang.
The Iran inspiration steers mainly on the plur.
Sorry, Michael, you'll have to change the tie. It doesn't quite clash with the jacket.
These are the final preparations, seconds before tonight's show goes on air.
Elocution lessons have all but eradicated my local accent.
Makeup, could you adjust his face? I think we've got a bit of slip on the forehead.
I'll be on the 9 o'clock news before you can say Jack Robbins on.
Remember, Michael, pause in all the wrong places, use confusing inflections, emphasize inappropriate words, and spend the first 10 seconds looking at the wrong camera.
It's 6:30 in the region. Time for Bang on Target with Michael Bang.
Good evening. But first, the news. Hopping lessons for Timmy the amputee badger, a leaf is found lying near a pavement in Sproul, and how far are we from Kent today? But first, our main story. A cardboard box is still blowing around the town centre tonight. Earlier today, the box, a brown cuboid robustly constructed from a corrugated wood pulp composite, was seen near A Road with a white line down the middle and cars running in both directions. Police have issued a description of a man. And don't forget, later in the programme, weather predictions with Michael Tobb and his climatic worm, and news of today's nuclear accident, in which a 17,000 megaton warhead blew up France. We'll be discussing its effect on plans for a new cycle path in Target City Centre.
It's your region, it's your region, it's your region.
Indeed. Hi there with me, Chaz Malibu. Target is served by a radio station called Tag FM.
Tag FM.
Tag FM, that's talking it good with good morning, good music and good telephones. Tag FM boasts both a mixed schedule. Chaz. Later, Chaz Hologram with Good Day, Good Afternoon with Chaz Cheese. Chazovation brings you religion with Good God. And tonight, Chaz Cancer checks out some of your best bereavement stories in Good Grief.
Tag FM.
So what's the secret to becoming a truly successful regional broadcaster?
Let me tell you about what's on the show tonight. We shall find out the secret of a really good portion of fish and chips.
Mike Darbo, ex-singer of Manfred Mann and host of a daily regional show in the West Country.
We find out from a Cheltenham milliner what it's all about.
An example of Mike's Everyone a Winner daily formula. I phoned him up to see if he could give me the answer. Michael, you're a well-known name around the region, opening fates for diseased charities.
Yeah, well, of course, I mean, the background to me is the music.
You had a hit record, didn't you, with the Mighty Flan?
Oh, the Mighty Quinn, you mean?
Don't contradict me if you don't mind. What about your radio programme?
Basically, we have a really tasty little radio rendezvous.
Like it.
And it makes my day because I know that I help to make their day. So it's sort of a mutual thing.
Masturbation.
Yeah, it's the next best thing to making love, I can tell you.
Yeah.
But at least I can express more of my personality.
For which you need a lot of room.
Yeah.
What's the secret of being a really successful radio personality in the region?
I think the reason they like me is because I'm a nice guy.
Well, that comes over.
You won't find this offensive if I actually read out a letter I got today.
No.
I'm not going to give you her name, but it's a lady. She says, I wonder if you realise what comfort the radio is to people distressed or alone. I find nighttime horrendous. I turn on your voice, and I feel it gives me comfort.
That's the most moving thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could pause for a few seconds just to think about it.
Yeah.
Shut your face, then. Seems like you're a bit of a message merchant, Michael. Do you have one for us now?
I feel sometimes that we're stuck away in local radio, and what we want is a wider audience. So if there's anybody who wants to give me a bit of national radio, wouldn't go amiss.
Well, if you thank me nicely, I'll see what I can do for you, Mike.
Jimmy, thanks for the company. We'll talk soon.
On the hour, the world in a tablet.
Just time for tomorrow's weather. Over to the Weather Centre now with Frank Green. Good evening, Frank.
Good morning, John. A lot of dry, bright weather today with a ridge of high pressure over the British Isles in southeast England, in Wales and northwest England, the extreme north in East Anglia, the Midlands, Northern Ireland. It'll turn out to be very warm too, up to 24 Celsius, 23, up to 22 Celsius. A warm day. So this afternoon and this evening will be this morning. Inland fairly warm. Even so, quite a warm day with the extreme north and the extreme south. It'll be a dry day, and a dry day here, dry with some evening thunderstorms. And that's the weather.
Closing music.
Just time to have a look at tomorrow's papers. The Times, exhumed man wins free haircut. The Independent, orange-fingered scientists aim to grow cauliflower cheese. The Mail, 49 squid wrestle for sandwich. And The Economist, horse theft twins suspended from textile apartment. There's a photo there of Tony Gubber. That's it. Good night. So, a couple more stories actually in the later sections of the pages. The Mirror there with 32 of them pages. The Daily Express, slightly thicker and heavier at 51 pages. Some of the newspapers are quite shiny. If you can see that I wonder if any of them have a scratch and sniff section. So Mirror seems to be printed upside down as well. God's trousers. My hand's pointing to the 12. I am on the hour.
On the hour. Such is politics.
It's a painful business.
On the hour.
What you mustn't do in politics is listen to people.
It's a painful business.
On Radio 4. Such is politics.
First of all, I've said consistently that the recovery will be in the second half of the year. I've said that time and time and time again.
Tentacles.
I'm Christopher Morris. Good news. Today's crust.
The headlines.
Panic as European average falls below the European average. Defrocked cleric eats car park. And it's war, says Prince Harry.
On the hour.
Plus, coming up, Douglas Hurd outlines government plans to convert Kenneth Clark into a car.
We decided on the suspension.
Cross-party support as Paddy Ashdown test drives the minister.
What comes first is manoeuvring.
And Kenneth Baker tells us why Clark will become Britain's biggest-selling family car.
You look at the pictures of it. There are many estates that have greater problems than this.
But first, the news. The wave of inner-city disturbances continued unabated last night. Gangs of youths left a trail of destruction by breaking into the inner cities and driving them around at great speeds. Police chased the Moss Side district of Manchester for over 2 hours down the M6, but lost it in the fog. And in the Midlands, riot squads had to confiscate Droitwich from a gang of thugs who were trying to drive it over a cliff. And Kidderminster has been found abandoned in a hedge. Home Secretary Kenneth Baker said, "The day of the Yahoo is upon us."
On the hour, holding up a net in the strong breeze.
Time for sport now with Alan Partridge. And talking of strong breezes, Alan, you're a pretty strong man.
Well, certainly, like to think I can I do a bit of the old weights, get the old pecs and the lats in shape. Certainly think if, there was a bit of a caboodle, a bit of a kerfuffle, I could certainly hold my own in a
Big
bar.
and strong.
Strongish, yeah.
Handy with a mallet.
I certainly think I can use weaponry.
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. Fishing news. The British angling competition. Latest score, anglers 532, fish 0. Shock news today from swimming star Duncan Goodhue, whose hair has grown back overnight, destroying the cheery, bald swimming star image that has made him the toast of the twin worlds of sport and no hair. Goodhue feels he's at crisis point in his career due to the inevitable revenue loss from his moonlighting as a cheery, bald swimming star quiz and chat show celebrity.
Green Desk.
Green News update from me, Rosie May. Events diary. There's a fungus foray and mushroom vigil in Dulwich on Sunday. Meet at 7 o'clock by the dump.
Green Desk.
Weaving. Weaving might be the homemaking science of the future. A trip to the new environmentalist theme park Weave World near Cardiff shows how rushes can be woven into houses, hats, helicopters and imaginary friends. Ella Campion, self-styled queen of Weave World itself, is an unashamed champion of what she calls the woven life. Her home, her bicycle, her bed linen, even her hair and pants are all products of rush weaving.
Environmental news. If it's green, we'll cover it.
And remember, green is the colour of mercy. In a moment, news of this week's prime story, the World Summit on the Future. But first, as you probably heard, our reporter Kevin Smear has won this year's Golden Fist Award for Irresistible Journalism. His winning piece was the controversial documentary Kenneth Baker's World of Shame, in which, after 6-month search, Smear eventually found the Home Secretary slumped in the corner of an amusement arcade in Hunstanton, talking candidly about his secret life.
There are problems, of course, with certain young boys. And during the summer, I've been having a series of private meetings with police officers and indeed church leaders. The Archbishop of Canterbury came to one. The Chief Rabbi came to another.
And you can hear the full story at 12:10 on Sunday in a programme which replaces the scheduled edition of Desert Island Discs.
On the Hour with Christopher Morris and other reporter presenters.
The World Summit on the Future starts today in Boslin, principal city of Limpany. Joining me now down the line to describe the opening is our reporter, Christopher Morris. The sound of a man sweeping up some change. And sweeping changes were top of the agenda when the delegates met today. The only delay to a prompt start was a technical hitch in the installation of the American president's golf course. The difficulty arose because, in accordance with internationally agreed specifications, the summit is taking place on a boat. That settled, the delegates filed into their log cabins and began debating whose log cabin to use for their meetings and whether to feature a real or gas effect roaring hearth for the television coverage. Then, under the watchful eye of the vagrant caribou demanded by the Eskimos, the giant meringue sculpture of Hercules, and the traditional bucket of wasps, the delegates began the conference according to the agreed protocol. Each speaker to kneel on a silk napkin grasping the staple of truth, proposals to be delivered in a monotone to avoid the deceptive colouring of inflection and emphasis, and the end of each speech to be signalled by the removal of a limb or a forfeit. And earlier today, I've been finding out what people think about the summit with a microphone.
Looking at the future, is it a leaky vessel?
Very. Yeah, it is very.
What shape is the future?
Well, spiky, I suppose.
The future, what are the overall prospects?
I think it will be good.
So the prospects for overall's good?
Yes.
Blue, black, red or green?
Blue.
You'd go for blue overalls?
Yes.
On the Hour. Current affairs broadcasting melded with the broadness of life.
I want to know is who left this potato in the way. Tennis now, and with 38 weeks to go before Wimbledon fortnight, here's a special report on the state of British tennis with our correspondent David Highness.
With only 3.5 months to go before Wimbledon, it seems an opportune moment to examine the state of British tennis today. Britain currently has 3 world-class players on the circuit, seeded 674th to 676th. Britain's tennis coach, Julia Courtney-Hayhoe, takes the credit for this achievement. I spoke to her at the Virginia Wade Tennis School in Surrey.
Now, if you look back, Virginia Wade won in 1977. And if you look forward, we can see that all our players look terribly, terribly smart. They have good haircuts, they have nice thighs. British tennis is doing very well, actually. Now, Virginia Wade won in 1977.
But 87-year-old Stan Naylor remembers better days. He was Wimbledon champion from 1921 to 29.
What was the competition like? Well, who were you up against?
Well, it was pretty bloody stiff. There was Jenkins, of course, who I was at Oxford with. He was a fellow blue. And then there were the Cambridge boys, Jones and Jones. They were brothers.
And the four of you were at the top of your profession?
We were the profession.
You were that good?
Well, we were the profession. I mean, there was no one else.
I'm sorry, there were only four in the entire competition?
Yes, I think you could say that.
I see, so there were only 4 seeds, there were only 4...
No, 3 seeds. 3 seeds and a fourth, a googly.
For an insight into modern-day training methods, I joined a typical session at the school.
I'm with Roger King, who's supervising one of the modern-day training sessions. Roger, the methods look a little unorthodox. Can you talk us through them?
All the players in the team there, they all have their ironing boards, an ironing board each. And what they're just looking at the moment is the technique of getting the creases into their kit. You can see there's a lovely forearm that Buster has over there with his iron, and that he's been working on quite a lot. And there we see some players just practicing taking the lemon barley water, sitting down, drinking it, and placing the cup back in the bin. We are sure that our players will do us proud on the pitch.
The court, surely. Tennis court.
Court. Margaret Court?
I mean, they play on the tennis court, not a pitch. I'm sure that's cricket.
No. Really?
The irony is that 14 years after Virginia Wade's great victory, the shockwaves are being felt all over the world, and no more so than here in Paraguay City. To the Paraguayans, Virginia Wade is a monument. Even today, they name children of both sexes after her. I spoke to 9-year-old Virginia Wade Iglesias.
We have no racquetball nor my brothers, senor, but God has given branches to the trees, and the branches give their sticks to us, and they are our rackets.
So, what are our future prospects? Susanna Sharper is the school's most recent graduate. She has just played 3-year-old Bolivian girl Monica Perez de Cuellar. How did she fare?
Yeah, I was beaten to love. I mean, I didn't score 1 point, but it was quite a good game.
And how do you feel about her approach to the game?
Well, I thought she looked terribly sloppy. She didn't drink hardly any barley water. I drank much, much more than her. And she had these rather chunky brown thighs. And she had hairy armpits as well. And I frankly think she should have lost a lot of points on style. I mean, she kept hitting the ball where I couldn't get it.
Do you think perhaps you have anything more to learn about the game?
I think she has. I think she could wash her kit.
On the hour, spooning the more important grain from the news hopper.
Later in the programme, more on the Penelope Keith riots in South Africa. But first, the Department of Transport Clean Up Roads campaign starts today. Drivers can help by dragging a bit of old cloth or a dustpan and brush along behind the car. And the talks continue at the World Summit on the Future.
I shall be there.
Let's pause now for some prayer desk thoughts from Monsignor Trebe Lopez.
The devil is evil with the D of damnation. God is good with the round O of oh yeah added. Leap ye lizards, dance, O ye dogs, dwarves, tumble. As an insect is known by its doings, so are the adulterous beknownst to the Lord. Eat, be merry, shun war, love your neighbour, ignore the menstruators, behave politely, move around at an even pace, wear shirts, nibble nuts, caper, but the greatest of all the commandments is nibble nuts.
This week's Special Concern Report comes from our music correspondent Wayne Carr, who's been finding the works of Satan recorded backwards on pop records. The work of recording satanic messages backwards on popular records started with the Beatles and before. Alex Maloney of the Congregational Church of Elim Pentecostal Christians tours the country giving seminars in which he plays records backwards to demonstrate the evil within. I phoned him up and played him his own most famous example with Queen and Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one bites the dust.
Alex, let me ask you, first of all, how does it feel when you hear that?
There's, how can I explain it? A quickening in my spirit. What I'm actually hearing is it's fun to smoke marijuana. The spirit behind the intention is definitely from a satanic force.
Well, this next shocking example is from Madonna. It's all too clear that's referring to drugs with the words, have another sniff, you'll like it.
Yeah, got it that time. I'd actually blocked my own mind there, because the one I was expecting was Satan, I Love Him.
I think we all know that one.
Yeah.
Pin your lugs back and check out this debasing example from the God musical Jesus Christ Superstar.
Should I speak of love?
Elaine Page singing, "Oh more cheap savage, rush now you savage, and I admit your powders."
Yeah, it's there. It's definitely there. I think what we're seeing is the net is being thrown even wider.
Satan's vomit has penetrated a long way.
Very much so. They're drawing the youngsters in.
The sick pilot whales of the record industry.
Very much so. And it's been going on ever since the Beatles and before.
Now, have you come across an example before by the vocal megacrate Phil Collins?
I've not heard of one by Phil Collins.
See what you think of this.
Yes, I wish it would rain. Now, why? I wish it was you. Why? I wish it was you.
Yeah, I got heroin in. I certainly got my heroin in.
Bang on the bonds, my heroin was in, and in my corgi's knee, which can only imply some kind of grim, bestial drug fixation with a dog that he's probably shagging. That's a shocker, isn't it, for a man with such a fine image?
Strangely enough, because these people have given themselves over to a particular type of lifestyle, it is actually a manifestation of a demonic voice through their own bodies, because they've become slaves to that type of life.
They become a devil duct.
That's right. And so therefore they're used.
Some people even go so far as to...
Oh, yes. Well, you know, Scripture tells us in Proverbs 4:16 and 17,
yep,
they cannot sleep until they make somebody fall.
The little old man
they
with
will not
raspberries.
know slumber until they do evil.
Pottering around.
They eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence.
Cocking the legs
and
on
really
the bushes.
That is a scripture which points to
falling
the
over.
way that it just goes on and on and on and on.
Yep.
Until people are absolutely
drunk,
drenched in
the gastric juices of evil.
Oh, it's awful. It's woven its way so much through that I don't think now any group can get onto the rock scene without being infiltrated.
Without having Satan in its bowels.
Very much so.
Amen.
Wayne Carr with that disturbing story. This is On the Hour. Coming up over the next 843 seconds, outcry as Ford recall all cars.
We're not saying it's dangerous. It's just that if it came into contact with a child, then one of them would melt.
And pay global heed, say the Met Office.
Well, if the public insists on wearing these, then Newcastle will be under a ton of water by Ash Wednesday.
And as the hot weather continues, Britain is counting the cost. A farmer in Cumbria committed suicide after discovering the withering overnight temperatures had reduced his precious dairy cattle to the size of grasshoppers. And as water becomes increasingly scarce in the New Forest, several wardens have reported trees fighting for dew towards dawn. For a roundup of the latest weather prospects, here's Suzanne Charlton at the London Weather Centre.
Those places likely to be plagued by that: parts of Essex and Kent, Northern Ireland, northern parts of England, East Anglia, Wales, the Midlands and down towards the southeast. For the southwest, West Wales, Northern Ireland and in the far north of England and Northern Ireland, the cloud will increase during the day. That shows where the cloud's going to move into turning cloudy, though in Northern Ireland the cloud more likely to stick. Some low cloud there, but in complete contrast, cloudy with a little patchy drizzle. That's it.
Good. Still to come, studio analysis on the summit from Paddy Ashdown.
Can I just make one final point, Nick, and that's this?
No. Time for Sports Desk with Alan Partridge.
This is Sports Desk. I'm Alan Partridge. Confusion at the end of the American football Super Bowl in LA this week, as both teams claimed victory, and there was no one in the ground who was exactly sure how the scoring system works or of the basis upon which the points are awarded. Coach Eni Ramal of the LA Dogs said surely it's how much you throw the ball around that counts, while Zine Norcioni of the New York Dogs countered no, it's how fast you go up and down. That's what means you win. And news in from the dolphinarium Brighton, where kindly local dolphins and otters have come up with a novel way to solve the financial crisis of newly haired ex-bald swimming star Duncan Goodhue, their human aqua friend. They're planning to join with Goodhue in a musical aqua show involving leaping through hoops, catching fish and clicking. The dolphins and otters will wear wigs to remind even the most hard-hearted onlooker of the tragedy of Goodhue's misfortune. Duncan is hoping that the proceeds from the show will enable him to buy an electric razor or else a cheap novelty bald joke wig.
Alan Partridge with today's sport. And before you go, Alan, I gather that your wife rose from the dead this weekend.
Yeah, I was wondering how long it'd take for that one to get round. Yeah, I was doing a spot of decorating and, right like a ball out of the blue, there was my wife, with a couple of other members of the living dead.
Any smell involved?
Quite a bit, I can tell you. A bit of a hoy there, but... So I had to, got out the garden hose, sort of clean her up a bit, and certainly I do love her, even though there's a smell.
The onset of putrefaction hasn't destroyed the charm.
Yeah.
On the hour, maximum use of the BBC's news resources.
And now it's time for a video review, and our reviewer this week is Bob Tiff. Bob, have you found it an interesting selection this week?
Thank you, Chris. And 3 new films to tell you about this week, all of them specially rewritten and reshot for the video market. A case in point is Merchant Ivory's Room with a View 2, set like its predecessor in a Tuscan summer of long ago. Touching and sturdy performances by a stalwart team of British actors, including Denham Elliott, Judi Dench and Maggie Smith, are somewhat marred by the presence in the video version of a lethal swamp monster, who stalks the streets of Florence by night, devouring Anglican clergymen. Overall, a disappointment. But there is a convincing performance as Chagrin the cleric-slaying mud creature from Simon Callow. Missouri is the setting for Woody Allen's new offering, Vacation of the Heart, another dowdy production from the former comedian. 4 middle-aged New York sitcom producers meet up at a remote mountain ranch. Dave and Marty are both in love with Danny's wife Sue, while the 4th man, Melvin, has suddenly fallen in love with himself and has decided to make a film about it. Gradually, as the weekend progresses, Melvin and Dave discover more about themselves than Danny and Marty did of each other. Here's a clip.
Dave, I don't think I can write it.
Oh, for Christ's sake, what do you mean you can't write it?
I mean this joke. I can feel it, but I can't write it.
But comedy is about feeling.
Yeah, but where's the joke? Maybe I'm the joke. Or the joke. Look out! He's acting my arm off.
Woody Allen and Michael Murphy there, with a brief appearance as the mutilated axe-wielding corpse of a long-dead Nazi by Mia Farrow, of course. Vacation of the Heart. And finally we go to the bottom of the pile, in every sense. From TriStar Videos comes Revenge of the Stinking Dead. The title, sleeve notes, and indeed still photographs on the cover promise much entertaining spilling of gore and severing of limbs. But sadly, all this is lacking in the film itself. Director Bill Goering misses several opportunities to spatter the old red stuff, and instead shamelessly concentrates on the slight tale of a young Russian peasant boy struggling to nurture his gift for the viola, while managing the demands of his dead father's farm. What should have been an enjoyable 90 minutes of nubile high school flesh meeting a frenzy of blood-caked blades becomes instead an exploitational and complex parable of the conflicting demands of agrarianism and artistry. I voted a miss.
On the hour, choice morsels from a broad kitchen.
More news now from the World Summit on the Future.
Can I just make one final point, Nick, and that's this?
No. And the summit has, of course, been a rich source of material for comic satirists. Our reporter Steve Largesse paid a visit to the offices of Radio 4's long-running irreverent romp through the week's news. Thank God it's Satire Day.
It's 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and I'm holding in my hand a blank piece of paper.
But by Saturday evening, not only must this page be full of thought-provoking topical jokes, but those jokes must be broadcast on the radio to be heard by us. So, just how is this unbelievable and amazing transformation brought about? Well, I'm here at the Satire Day writers' meeting to find out. Well, here goes. Hello! Hello, 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 hello!
Hello! Nice to see you.
So here we are.
Steve, sit down. Meet the others.
Deborah Lindsay is the producer.
Right. This summit conference, guys. Any ideas? Martin?
Yeah, Deb. Well, I was thinking it through last night. It just seemed to me like quite a clever angle if we sort of took it back to Robin Hood and like we portrayed Gorbachev as Robin Hood and connect that with, like, John Major could be the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yes. Yes, I'll hold on to that, Martin. Richard?
Yeah, I had an idea, actually. What about if we did a parallel with like the Robin Hood story, only taking Robin Hood to be John Major and Gorbachev to be Sheriff of Nottingham? I think that might be a nice little make a few points that way. Yeah.
Yes, I like it. I like it.
And then Mrs. Thatcher could be like Maid Marian, maybe.
That's fantastic. I'm going to go with it.
No, because
Friar Tuck could be Willy Whitelaw or something, maybe.
No, that wouldn't work.
Norman Willis?
Maybe. Yeah, but it is. I'll go away and work on it, and then maybe I'll show it to you.
I know. I think the two of you should get your heads together, go down to the coffee bar, talk through, bash it through,
but
come
I'll
back up
take it
here.
away. I'm on a 5-minute commission. If I share it with him, then I've only got 2.5 minutes.
I think we can thrash this through when actually the sketch is written, guys. Shall we?
Yeah, so I'll write it, then we'll thrash it through. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll do the actual writing, and Richard can advise. Maybe.
Commissioned writer Martin Longthorpe has been writing for Satire Day for 23 years.
The thing I always like to throw into the pot is the Robin Hood idea, because I think, Robin Hood, it's endless. Robin Hood will always be there, and so I chuck it in every week.
Well, here we are, 24 hours later. The script has been written, and Richard's Robin Hood sketch is chosen to be performed for the show.
Ha-ha! I am Robin John Major Hood.
Yes, you are so short-sighted. You probably wear some kind of hood.
I rob from the poor and give to the rich because I am completely evil and government is really bad if it's right-wing.
Yes, with you in charge, I doubt we'll win the next election.
Makes you think. Iron Maid Marian. Oh, and apparently there's been some kind of summit this week as well.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
I'd say my ultimate ambition for Satire Day is to bring down the Tories and their shamefaced hypocrisy, but also, and more importantly, I'd like to give old and middle-class people in the South East something to chuckle about on a Saturday night.
Thank God It's Satire Day was written by Larkagin Babs, Gingerly Roundabouts, Polly Pantomime, Stephen Hull Hosiery, Peru, Dick Hickory, Simeon Samian, Beanbowl Bambendy, Lennon Barry, Harry Bean, Therese and Tommy Territory, with newslines by Melton Stitt, Massingbird, Gary Riot, Keith Brouhaha, Christ, Lardidar Hardcastle, Engelbert Impromptu, and Fact Portugal. It's 10 to 3 to 4 to 5, and the conclusions of the summit have just been announced. And the first surprise was the announcement itself, which was made in a new world language called interglotty. The decisions were as follows.
Human tree.
Good evening.
Kleb tree hong shabaka shalil.
The
lub shahon cock portion.
future would be better if
Lali.
everything was moved over to the left a bit. Builders didn't have arses.
Hobletrat.
There were a few more red things.
Sak fu haka.
And people breathed out less often than they breathed in.
Now.
And at home, public reaction to the new rulings has been swift.
What do you think of the proposals for breathing out a little less often?
I would think you're barking up a sticky wicket there.
And say for every 20 times you breathe in, how many times should you breathe out?
About 10.
What do you think of the very latest proposals to make a few more red things?
Well, I don't think very much, really. I don't like too highly coloured things.
So what do you think of the let's make a few more red things society?
I expect it attracts the younger people, but it doesn't appeal to me so much.
Well, there's enough red things about in there.
Are there?
There's enough red things about, like fire engines, post boxes.
What could be the danger in having too many red things?
Well, if you have too many red things, your eyes start going.
How many more red things should we be allowed?
Oh, about 3 or 4.
A successful end to the World Summit on the future.
Can I just make one final point?
No.
Closing music.
And it's time for a look at tomorrow's headlines. The Times, farmer loses piece of straw in unexpected gust disaster. They're devoting 12 pages to that story. The Telegraph, Penelope Keith riots end in shaving contest. The Independent, Tory backbench in sword fight with devil. There's a diagram there of hell. And The Sun, Princess Di's hair dishevelled by 7-inch tornado. That's it, and wherever you're going, hello. This is On the Hour at Christmas. Mary, Joseph, and the news.
On the Hour. Such is politics. It's a painful business. On the Hour.
What you mustn't do in politics is listen to people.
It's a painful business. On Radio 4. Such is politics.
I think it is increasingly accepted that a country cannot pursue policies.
I think we're extremely unwise to raise this question.
But Mr. Scargill didn't have the floor with him.
On the Hour with Christopher Morris.
And I am here. The top stories on the day the world was saved.
The headlines.
7 million Italians in elastic bishop stampede. Left-wing footballer shoots cat. And expandable fruit in creeping neck unpleasantness.
On the Hour.
Plus, coming up, why Christmas this year has gone with a bang for the people of Reading.
It was about 20 miles away. You could hear it very loudly. For 2 very loud bangs, one after the other. Then one of the reindeer landed very near me on my mother.
And in our regular feature, It's Your Mouth, we feature public opinion on animal cruelty. What do you think of shooting horses?
Well, one hardly shoots horses for sport.
What does one do it for?
Presumably, only if necessary.
And who should they be shot at?
Well, presumably a qualified veterinary surgeon.
And a very full Christmas, especially to you. The main story this morning, Northamptonshire County Council has admitted that the village of Spratton has been lost. The disappearance was discovered last night by terrified Wassailers who reported that the road leading to the village just ended in a sort of gap. The vanishing follows several reports that the village had been working itself loose around the edges. Meanwhile, the council has issued an emergency statement in a bid to prevent a full-scale panic. It says that friends and relatives in the village are still contactable by phone, but they do not know they have been lost and must on no account be told.
On the Hour. Delivering the news goods in the season of good news.
In a moment, a seasonal thought for the day from Monsignor Trebe Lopez. But first, Ani Domino 1992. What kind of year was it? Who's been and gone? And what exactly happened? Behold, part 1 of the On the Hour Year in New... More difficulties for Mr. Yeltsin as his enemies in the Kremlin brought the struggling Russian government to its knees. Although clearly bitter, the beleaguered president vowed to carry on with new objectives.
I'm distraught. It seems very strange that elected representatives of the people can do this to the people. And I must talk to my advisors and hopefully we'll come up with a plan which at least will save football in Maidstone.
News ambition. In March, unprecedented chaos hit the railways as drivers stopped their engines and refused to drive them any further in a protest over dangerous lines. A spokesman explained, "If you look down the track, the rails get closer together towards the horizon. With fixed-gauge rolling stock, this gradual narrowing is likely to derail our trains." Late March, and with election fever at bursting point, Labour's strategy blew up in its face when it was revealed that in making one of the most shocking political broadcasts ever shown, Robin Cook had deliberately thrown a child off a cliff. 364 yesterdays today. August the 18th, and a dark night for the film world when at a dinner to launch his new film Chaplin, Richard Attenborough stood up and exploded. October was dominated throughout by the televised live contest between Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky to see who could pee highest up a wall in Yugoslavia. And then in December, the nation was stunned when the dramatic contents of the Queen's Christmas speech were leaked by the press.
This year, I am speaking to you not from Buckingham Palace, but from a cross. And it was from this house that my grandfather, King George V, and my father, curiously enough, used to servicemen and women.
Part 2 of our news review in about 738 seconds. And if you've just joined us, it's Christmas. Christmas is the time of year in which much concern is expressed over pets given as presents. To discuss the issue, we've booked a line enabling us to telecommunicate with RSPCA representative Cindy Peters. Hello, Cindy.
Sandy. S-A-N-D-Y. Sandy.
Let's stick with Cindy, I prefer that. Cindy, the big RSPCA manager.
Yeah, hip bath.
Hip bath?
Sorry?
No problem. Let's start from basics so everyone knows what we're talking about. What is a dog?
It's an animal that actually lives with people.
They all have hair, don't they?
They've all got some fur on them.
Woof. What problems arise when a dog is given as a gift?
The problems arise is the person who's giving it hasn't even thought it through of whether the person would actually like it.
This is really very bad behaviour indeed.
Well, yes, I mean, it is. It's absolutely thoughtless that people are still, even today in 1991, giving animals as pets.
What small percentage of the brain do you reckon's involved in this thoughtlessness?
I think that there's hardly any thought gone into it.
Less than 5%?
Oh, yes.
So, if you do give a dog as a present, what should you wrap it in?
A dog shouldn't be wrapped in anything. This is what a lot of people forget.
What about if it was in paper that smells of a dog?
No. I mean, the animal, the dog has feelings. We don't wrap a person in a box with a pretty bow on the top.
Now, if somebody does receive an unwanted dog, the best way to get rid of it must be to dump it on a motorway.
I honestly would say that it's just disgusting, and it is not an effective method. There are other ways of being effective.
There are dual carriageways as well?
Yes, that's right. I mean,
and railway lines?
Yeah, I mean, people throw them out.
How can you get rid of it?
You've got Animal Concern, you've got Canine Defence League, you've got voluntary organisations.
Yeah, well, I must say I'm not surprised.
Sorry?
I'd always had my suspicions about those kind of organisations. Thanks very much for joining us, whoever you were.
On the Hour, facing the facts from a bowl of bread sauce.
Now, Christmas may mean a time of rest for most of us, but for some, it's just another hard day's work. Our team of out-and-about reporters has been scattered far and wide to seek out the heroes without whom the country would grind to its knees. First, Jimmy Tinker has been to Leicester.
That's absolutely right. I'm talking to some very special people, and here's one of them. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
What's your name?
Stan.
Well, Stan, the reason you're special is because, while our present wrappings are lying about deep and crisp and even,
yes,
you here will be hard at work. Now, what work will you be doing on Christmas Day?
I'll be home on Christmas Day.
What work will you be doing on Christmas Day?
Very little. Very little.
Nice joke. Now, when you come along here on Christmas morning, what time are you going to start work?
Christmas morning?
Yes, that's right.
No, I shan't be here Christmas morning. You're wrong, really.
Oh.
Jimmy Tinker. And Rodney Pugh has been at large in Bristol.
Well, of course, that's absolutely right, you see, because I've come down to Hospital Porter HQ with someone very special. What's your name?
Harry.
And you're very special, aren't you? Because while we're all enjoying Christmas, with the wrapping paper lying about deep and crisp and even, you'll be working extremely hard. So at 9 o'clock on Christmas morning, you come in here.
No, not here, no. I must be at home, I hope.
So you're not working Christmas after all?
No, I must be at home.
Well, despite all that, hello.
Hello.
Green Desk.
Green News update from me, Rosie May. Sweat. Scientists at the International Sweat Research and Smelling Centre, Diyarbakir, Turkey, have stumbled across an amazing new fact. Apparently, far from trying to eradicate sweat with newfangled deodorants, we should actually encourage it. Sweat contains special gases of some kind that help the ozone layer. It's no coincidence that the sweatiest people on planet Earth are the French, and that the ozone layer is at its strongest directly over their capital city, Paris.
Green Desk.
Have sex with me and save a tree, says Lombard Gnarly of Vancouver. He invites anyone to have sex with him and save a tree. Lombard is a lumberjack, and any time he spends having sex will be time he can't spend destroying the Earth's environment.
Environmental news. If it's green, we'll cover it.
Well, I'm joined now by Alan Partridge for a review of the year's sport. Alan, I gather you've just been sick.
You're not wrong there. I certainly was sick a couple of hours ago, funnily enough, and I don't know, mixing of drinks and food and whatnot. It was a bit of a lethal cocktail, and certainly a lot of that came out in one big
emesis nemesis.
You might say that. Anyway, I've got quite an amusing story about Christmases of the past. The turkey we were going to have was I was supposed to go and pick it up, and I put it in the back of the car, which was going to take it to.
Can you hurry up, please? We're running out of time.
Yeah, I'll just hurry. And put it in the back of the car, and it was the wrong car. So this car drove off, the wrong turkey in. Yeah, just went. We never saw it again. Basically, we had to get another. We had to buy another one.
Is that what happened? Is that all that happened then? You just put a turkey in the wrong car.
Yeah, it was at the time. You know, you had to laugh about it.
Surely there must have been something else which happened, which made this event worth recounting.
It was a long time ago. I think something else probably happened, like someone fell over or something. Yeah, it was very funny, yeah. I seem to remember now. It's coming back. Someone did fall over. Yeah.
And happy Christmas, Alan.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Oh, dear.
Well, on that cheery note, let's have a look back at some of the other cheery events. Thanks, Chris. I feel a lot better.
Start the tape.
I wonder who it was who said, if a week is a long time in politics, then a year is 12 months in sport. I wonder. I am Alan Partridge, and this is my year of sport. Welcome. You join us here as Manchester United and Liverpool, the two giants, battle it out at the derby, or well, not near derby, of two teams who are quite close, battling for the prize, which is a result in this case, down there on the pitch. And I've got to say, it's foggy, very foggy. It's adding in a way to the atmosphere. The fog here hanging like some sort of grey flannel, dirty grey flannel hanging here on a sort of, if you imagine the pitch is a towel rail, obviously a big one, big towel rail with a big grey flannel hanging. I can't see much. That's the main problem here. A lot of fog, certainly hanging fog. A great match. Earlier on this year, my wife said to me, Alan, you've gone to the dogs. And in a way, she was right, because what a magnificent year it's been for dog racing. And they're off. Number 5 straight into the lead there. A very well-bred hound running there right in front of the other dogs. There's the rabbit, or the hare, whatever. He's after that. Not a real one, of course, thank goodness, as these greyhounds or whippets, whatever they are, doing really well. All racing round in a corner. Thank goodness it's not a real hare or a rabbit, because I tell you, I've seen some of those things happen. I've seen some of those poor old rabbits and hares, and they just get hold of them and tear them to pieces. Not a nice thing. Just tear them, little bunny, all being torn by dogs. Horrid. Anyway, there they are, round the course. And I'm just so relieved it's not a real rabbit, honestly. Because it's just not right. You know, some of them live for hours. It's terrible. Anyway, and here they come. In motor racing, the cars were truly on form. Formula One style. Mansell closely followed by Prost, followed by Senna, Berger, Piquet. Mansell's held it all the way. It's very difficult to see how he can lose the lead now. Yes, I'm right. Yes, I was right. He's still in the lead. Mansell is in the lead, followed by Senna, Prost, Berger and Piquet, and some others behind them. Some foreign but quite good racing drivers following him. Amazing. But here comes Mansell. He's still in the lead with Senna and Prost and Berger, just like before. In the same row, and Mansell looks like he's going to win. Through the chicane. On all the others, through the chicane. Amazing. Mansell, Senna, just the same. Amazing. Through the chicane. Through the chicane. Amazing. This is Alan Partridge. and these are my sports. They've been good, they've been fast, they've been clean. Let's keep it that way in the coming year. Goodbye and good sport.
Fine and just sentiments, Al. Cheers very much indeed.
On the hour, still very much concerned with important events, despite the seasonal levity.
The time is 3 from the first quarter with minutes. In a moment, news. But first, over to Suzanne Charlton at the BBC Weather Centre. I gather we're in for a rather mild day today, Suzanne.
Strong winds, yes. It's going to feel rather chilly. Temperatures 14 to 13 to 15 to 16 to 70 degrees Celsius, generally about 12 degrees. Some sheltered eastern areas seeing a fair amount of sunshine in between a few whales. They're quite heavy. The bulk of them coming along later in the day to the north. They'll really gather together to give prolonged spells of whales. Could cause some structural damage. And by this evening, over the top of the Snowdonia, there could well be some degrees.
Thank you, Suzanne. And now the continuity announcer has news of Radio 4's programmes coming up later on today.
In half an hour, just after 11 o'clock, Jonathan Hewitt opens his Christmas box of bloopers, including David Wells's classic report from war-torn Beirut, in which he says, "This is David Wells reporting live from Beirut," and is then killed by a sniper's bullet. Then at 12:30, it's vintage comedy in Christmas Smash of the Day. From the Light Programme's comedy archive, we present a classic episode of Moneybox, that maelstrom of anarchic humour from Louise Botting and her team of rogues.
Home income plans seem the answer.
15% per annum before tax.
But are you covered by your motor policy? And the subject is small business. From me, Louise Botting, goodbye.
Louise Botting, Louise Botting, Louise Botting, Louise Botting, and her fiscal totting will stop your finance clotting, so you can afford to go yachting. Frankly, I am hotting to do some frotting with horny Louise Botting. Oh yes, I want to go frotting with horny Louise Botting.
That's half an hour of classic comedy at 12:30 here on Radio 4.
And there's just time for an SOS message. It's about an immediate family who have been lost in the Dulwich area. They're called the Harrises, and they were lost by Mr. Gavin Harris this morning when they fell out of his car as they rounded a corner.
It's 8 o'clock on Wednesday, the 16th of October.
And the news today, fighting. Plus, lined up on the next reel, why Bradford City Council have decided to poison all taxi drivers.
They have parked, and they have parked, and they have parked. They will not park again.
And we will be asking how a non-commercial organisation like the BBC can broadcast advertisements like this.
Oi, fatso! If you're packing too much lard, then you'll know just how it feels to be called nicknames like Dough Planet, Wobble Hobble and Cellulite City. But starting next week, only in The Sun, a brand new series of will really kebab the flat as we reveal the full secrets behind the Terry weight diet. Just how did Tubby Terrence shrink from Mr. Mascasic to Terry the Twig? What did Hezbollah do for his belly? Or did he just look larger then because he was stuffed with guns to swap for hostages? Find out next week, only in The Sun, as we serialise the ultimate Weight Watchers diet.
But first, the news, and more on Education Secretary Kenneth Clarke's campaign to stop parents lying to their children. Civil Service truth detectives have been visiting schools to warn children about the parental dishonesty. This interview was recorded in an infant's playground in Brighton. Right, who do you believe comes down the chimney on Christmas Eve?
Father Christmas, he's gonna give me presents.
Who told you this?
My mummy and my daddy.
Well, I'm afraid your mummy and daddy have told you a wicked lie. Father Christmas does not exist. Do you understand?
No.
He doesn't exist. Right, repeat after me. Mummy and daddy are very bad liars.
Mummy and daddy are very bad liars.
If they ever tell me such rubbish again, I'll report them to the police.
If they do it, we'll report them to the police.
Good.
On the hour, choice morsels from a broad kitchen.
And now Monsignor Trebe Lopez with his Christmas thought for the day.
A dog barks, a cat meows. What do you do?
Monsignor Trebe Lopez. Now, Christmas is also a time for relaxation. Here's Glenn Cairns with his weekly roundup of advice on taking a break.
It's time to go away on a jolly holiday. Go away, bloody go away.
And a warm, if festive felicitation to you and your kith on this Christmas morning. Pearls, indeed, pigs of wisdom offered today on how to go away on Boxing Day. But first, Barry Simpson will reach deep into his hamper and produce a feast of facts about ferries.
Thanks very much. And Seawood Ferries are offering a 30% discount to passengers who hand over their car keys to the crew as they get on board. This is so the crew can race up and down the car deck during the journey, which the company say will boost low staff morale. Litany Ferries are offering a midnight mass service on all night crossings. Ticket price includes a free wafer host for each passenger with a gold embossed company logo stamped on the back. And don't forget B&Z's very reasonable stowaway rate. You can cross the channel for £20 return, providing you don't go inside, and that you sleep in what little shelter you can find on the deck. To keep you warm, a bowl of hot punch will be on display in the bar, clearly visible through a big window. And that's it.
Thank you, Barry. Now you can go and have a shave. Now, if you've taken an emotional nosedive into a deep hibernal gloom, a spoonful of holiday planning is probably just the fillip you need. And here with a Panacean prescription is Gregory Shape with our resort report.
Yes, well, I'm standing next to Good Times expert. What's your name?
Mr. Humphreys.
Mr. Humphreys, for our resort report. What do you make of the facilities around here?
They're all right for shopping.
Not so good for the average holidaymaker?
Oh, not really for the holidaymaker, no.
Is there much fun to be had here?
Depends what you mean by fun. I mean,
would this be any help? Is that any good for anybody?
What?
Does that add to the fun?
Oh, a bit of banging.
All right, Mr. Humphreys, thanks for standing around with us and dwelling on this resort.
And a very good bus service, yeah.
Our gratitude to Gregory. Now, there's a veritable potpourri of seasonal events over the next few days. We've pinched a choice nosegay from among the dried petals with this resume of some of the Yuletide festivities. And the Saffron Walden Pig Hunt is this Sunday in Saffron Walden. At dawn, 78,000 pigs will be released into the area, and you'll have all day to look for them. The organisers say they want a better result than last year, when only 12 out of 50,000 pigs were recovered. The All England Under-5 Judo Weekend starts this Saturday in Buxton in Derbyshire. The youngsters are very skilled for their age, but still pretty easy to throw around. So if you're feeling pent up or angry, why not go along and have a fight with an under-5? Admission is free. And if it's the outdoors you're after, the Wiltshire Bollards meet in Swindon tomorrow at 10:30. There's a shortage of bollards in the area, so come dressed in white and orange markings and be a bollard for the day. Coffee and biscuits. Well, that pretty much renders the carcass to an acceptable stock for today. Just remains me to point out that the police have told us they're expecting most roads to be empty, which means presumably that there won't be too many police about either, and you'll probably be able to go out for a 150-mile-an-hour burn on most A roads. I particularly recommend the A44 near Chipping Norton.
Yes, it's time to go away on a jolly holiday. Go away, bloody go away.
Thanks very much indeed to Glenn Cairns and the Go Away team. Now, the year that was still is, but not for long. When today is next year, how will we remember the last 12 months? Lit by opera singer Jose Carreras, who was set on fire on the stadium floor and catapulted 150 feet up into a cauldron of inflammable gas. Madonna, never far from the headlines, was front-page news again in September when she released an album consisting entirely of her own burps, accompanied by a book of graphic photographs of herself burping. At the Tory conference in October, a beleaguered John Major, fighting both the miners and a stricken pound, did his best to rally the party faithful with a rousing display of inspirational rhetoric.
That is our programme for the 90s. Let me put it for you in a single phrase. First, peace at any price, either piecemeal, nor in part, nor in whole. Never, not today, not ever, once and for all.
182 and a half hours of newscasting.
November the 23rd, and Silence of the Lambs actor Anthony Hopkins, touring Britain in a deer suit to publicise road safety, was run over on the M62. But November will perhaps be best remembered as a month of religious turmoil, as the General Synod of the Church of England voted to allow badgers to be ordained as ministers. Early December saw the start of yet another bleak month for the royal family when, due to a wiring fault, the Queen Mother caught fire and blazed for 2 days. Prince Andrew fearlessly braved the heat to retrieve vital organs for palace officials to place in safe storage. And then, on Christmas Day itself, the Queen addressed the Commonwealth in a speech that revealed more than a little of the strain of her annus horribilis.
I first came here for Christmas as a grandchild. My great-grandfather, King Edward VII, used to bring food and try to put it behind us. Nowadays, my grandchildren come here for the sauce, tension, and violence.
And finally, a rather different kind of Christmas from where else? America, where, as CBN's Barbara Wintergreen reports, they're celebrating Christmas with conviction.
Yo ho ho!
No, it's not Santa's grotto at Mace's. It's the prison cell of convicted mass murderer Daimler Jeffries. Daimler goes to the electric chair on Christmas Day and has requested a very special set of sleigh bells.
Well, I've always been someone who's taken out of society and never put anything in ever in my whole goddamn life. So I thought it would be a real nice treat for the kids if I went to the electric chair dressed as Santa Claus.
So Daimler has invited children from the local orphanage to attend Milwaukee's first state Santacution. And while Daimler fries thick and crisp and even, fairy lights around the chair will glow in a festive pattern. Prison Governor Keith Ticciel.
It's a most unusual occurrence, certainly in my time as governor. People kind of all clubbing together and giving this guy a real good send-off. And for instance, we asked the local pet center for a reindeer. They didn't have one, but they donated a raccoon and a set of antlers, which is, kind of typical.
4-year-old Mary Jo Brook pulls the lever, and Daimler moves from death row to his death throes. This is one Santa Claus the kids will very definitely see go up the chimney. Barbara Wintergreen, CBN News, Milwaukee Penitentiary.
And there's just time to look at your top 5 votes for the quotes of the year. In 5th position was Cardinal Basil Hume's "Shove off butt crust." 4th, "I'm no Teddy Kennedy" from Teddy Kennedy. 3rd, you, and you, Kenneth Clark. And 2nd, "Do stop throwing those ice creams at my wife" from Terry Waite. And 1st, "It was easy. I just aimed the barrel at his nostrils and pumped half a kilo of lead into his big stupid face. I know it was wrong, but I'm happy now" from Frank Sinatra. That's me, it's Christopher Morris, and whoever you are, Happy News Year.